Awaiting some retail sales data here for the month of March on a month-over-month basis, 1.4% to the upside, positive print here versus 1.1% expected. 0.2 was the prior, so nice increase there on a monthly basis. Retail sales ex autos 0.5% to the upside versus a 0.1% increase expected there as well. So showing a little bit of underlying strength. Still waiting on that year-over-year number overall for March on retail sales. Coming up 9:45 this morning, Bank of Canada interest rate decision. They're now saying not going to do anything after that CPI print that we got that came in a little bit to the upside, but 2.75 is where we're at right now. Forecast a hold, 2.75 at this point. So we'll bring that to you coming up at 9:45. Tons of things to talk about this morning. Market trying to hold here, 450 for the Qs, down 1.4%. Nvidia, the big trouble spot here on this China headline that came out after the close yesterday. The ban coming through, going to cost them $5.5 billion, or they're going to take a charge at least of $5.5 billion to deal with this. We'll talk about that coming up. Tesla going to be hurt by China as well. Cybertruck production specifically under fire. A lot of the parts coming out of China for the Cybertruck. As Sharif, who's beside me, will tell you, they may not need to make any more because they have tons just kind of sitting around.
Too many.
That they just want to give away to people at this point.
Yes, what he's referring to is the 2-day loan that they're offering right now, where you can take the Cybertruck home, try it for a couple of days. If it fits good, you get to keep it. So, yeah, a lot to talk about today, Brando, but I want to mention some of the retail numbers here. The strength in the retail numbers, likely a pull forward of a lot of car buying ahead of tariffs. So, two different numbers we really need to look at here, one with autos and one without autos. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Lots to talk about, as you mentioned. Nvidia in focus, Google as well in focus, class action lawsuit on the other side of the pond there, ASML missing earnings, Meta, day 2 of Zuck testifying. More information came out about that, about Snapchat, and then UAL with a very uncharacteristic recession guidance.
Yeah.
No recession guidance. Should be interesting going forward.
I mean, if you're going to guide, you might as well just throw a dart and say it's either going to be really, really bad or it's going to be really, really fine. I guess nothing necessarily in between. There's that yearly number I was mentioning, 4.6%. Versus 2.6% expected there. So retail sales, as you mentioned, probably a few people stocking up before the tariffs come into effect here, maybe affecting that a little bit. Tesla rejecting that 250 right now. ASML to talk about this morning as well. Earnings coming through not good. Also pressuring some of the chip names so far this morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. That's a pretty good retail sales number. Like you can't go on that either, apparently. You get good news, and nobody seems to care. Like, if a good print happens in the forest, does it actually make a sound? Apparently not. Amazon didn't move on that. Walmart didn't move an ounce on that. The futures didn't move an ounce on that at all. Thank you very much to Nvidia. That $5.5 billion potential charge, I mean, what are the revenues? Just under 40. So it's not chump change.
No, it's a lot.
It's just not good news, and you don't even know what that. You don't even know if how long this is going to last. So that could be more to come. Mm-hmm. Ideally, things are resolved. You get a China deal, and this isn't all that bad. And it does not help the number that ASML had in their bookings. That's dragging the chips down even further. So it's just another morning where we're looking for good news. You probably found it if you're a Hertz shareholder because Ackman likes them. So I guess they're up a little bit because he bought some shares. And Palantir had good news yesterday. So there's always that.
Yeah, Palantir is always something to go to. Gold as well, upside again, up to 3. Wow, gold up to 304 right now. GLD breaking out huge again. Wow, this is quite the move up for GLD right now. Here's the break. We're all the way up here right now. So gold over the last, like, talk about that buy, and again, like, it hasn't hit the 50 period since the beginning of the year, and then boom goes the dynamite. We come down into 275, and now you're looking at 304. So we've been saying, just go back, open up those old textbooks, back in high school there, and gold is supposed to be that safety, and it looks like right now that is true. It's starting to go nicely to the upside right now. GLD, the gold miners, the gold miners as well, GDX, trying to go upside. Neil and I were just talking about this as well earlier on as the gold miners. Here we go. Let's go. Not .ax. There you go. .am. Also breaking higher right now. Once it loads, you'll be able to see. There it goes. Look at this. 40 up to $52 and still trying to go up 4%. Like we're not seeing anything up those levels right now. So we're good to go here. Looking at oil as well. I mean, I don't know. It's nice to see the pump getting. I've actually tweeted it out 111 there. Come on, charts.
That's good.
Yeah, I got 111 in Mississauga there on Saturday night, which was quite nice.
On Saturday, you got 111?
Yeah.
It was one.
Yeah, I tweeted it out, man.
That's
111.
sick.
And I think it was about, I'm not sure what it is over there. I threw it into ChatGPT, and it was coming in at about $3.30 a gallon, because we're talking about, here it is right here, 111 a liter.
I think I paid $1.15. Oh,
yo,
thank you very much.
You. There we go. Bianca with the drop
through.
off there. Bianca will be helping us with our social media posts back in lovely Budapest. There it is right here. 111.9 right there is what we saw. And then 132.9. What has gas went up today?
No, I don't. Was it up today?
Well, I went to 130 today, and I don't know. Anyway, that's I was just like, oh my God, I was driving. I was like, I got to get that. And then I thought it was approximately $3.13 a gallon there. I haven't seen it this price, I was saying, since COVID for sure around here.
Easily.
But remember, we have an election in 12 days.
Oh, yeah. So we had a big spike down because we had a tax added to our gas here in Canada. That, right before the election, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, let's just get rid of that tax temporarily to buy some votes. And then obviously you have, it happens, like it happens all the time, like promises get made and this and that. But it's, what's interesting, at least if you bring it back into oil, yay, we're not down today. Look at that, we're up 1%. No, what the interesting thing is, it's hard to have like a terrible, awful, horrible feeling about things. If the consumer is strong and oil prices are low, then that's not the end of the world. Our inflation prints haven't been that bad. So there's just like this weird underlying things aren't an issue, but yet the stock market and our chip names and then the uncertainty of businesses, like all of that's weighing on it. But like these other underlying things in the economy are all good. Unfortunately, it's just not mattering right now. You just have to be able to wait it out. So it can be frustrating. I'm glad to see oil is holding this level. Brick wall at 62, but we'll see if it can punch through that today. We'll see, only if the trend reverses, I suppose. But yeah, there's volatility starting to come back in, and we saw that, and we'll see that with the gaps overnight. We had a couple of calm inside days, and I'm not sure we're going to get that for the rest of the week.
Back to the desk.
Damn.
Anyone just jumping in? We had a bunch of interesting numbers just to recap there. I was just hearing, as you were mentioning, that 4.6 number on the retail sales, higher than expected, much higher than expected, almost double. In fact, the forecast was about 2.5, but a lot of that coming on the back of a little bit of inventory hoarding, maybe ahead of some of the tariffs coming into effect, market back downside. There's really no reaction to this whatsoever. That retail sales number coming up a little bit later this morning as well. Again, it's Wednesday, so we'll get all kinds of energy data at 10:30. I'm excited about that because Raheem is going to come soon and talk about oil. We haven't talked about oil. I think, we broke, if you go to a weekly time frame on an energy chart, we broke down.
Oh, yeah.
As the guys were just mentioning. So maybe coming into a time, maybe coming into some levels here for some energy companies.
Yeah, it looks like a possible here reversal pattern, putting some higher lows. What we see is an ascending wedge here, possibly on the CL June contract, Brendo. Yeah. But as the boys were mentioning, we've got a bit of a reprieve on this side of the border as the consumer carbon tax, I put that in air quotes for a reason, was removed from the gas. In addition, the province in this country permanently removed their tax on gas. So it's been nice, but I think that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there was a little bit of a spike in the price there, Brendo, before they removed the taxes there. So I feel something's afoot.
But I've also seen, just on that, I've also seen it slowly creeping back up again pretty quickly. I even said, the first thing I said to my wife when we saw that initially, that shock, it was simply the fact that how long is it going to take just to erase that anyways and just be right back
up
where we were?
There's some good news on this side of the border anyway. Interprovincial trade, Brenda, always been a tough thing. There's been actually more restrictions on provinces trading with each other than with the United States. Some of those barriers are going to come down, so hopefully some of the refining that we do in the east of this country makes its way over to Ontario without tariffs.
Yeah, I know you have your eye on this one, ASML. Kind of rolling over a little bit here once again. Big gap down this morning coming on the back of earnings. Anyone not familiar with this company? Trades over in Europe. Amsterdam specifically is the main listing for ASML. They make the machines that make the chips, so it's a little bit upstream on the production line.
Very important company for advanced chips, but a bit of a headwind. Let's be honest about it. There's an AI tailwind, but then there's a tariff headwind. So let's talk about how they did. Net sales slightly missing, net profit beating, but net bookings, and that's what I really want to focus on. The bookings, the upcoming orders, that missed substantially, Brendo. 3.94 billion was what they booked for. The street was looking for 4.89. So it's almost $1 billion miss right there, and that is likely because of tariffs and the uncertainty around restrictions.
Yeah, we'll see how some of this build-out or more manufacturing maybe coming back to the U.S. affects them going forward. I was interested in the forecast there. It didn't seem to show any indication of that, but 4% right here, guys, for ASML.
The good news for ASML is when I saw that booking number was such a big miss, I kind of thought it might be one of those double-digit down days for them because we've seen it before, and that's just what has tended to happen to them on a big miss. And they did a drop in October from it was an 870 to like 720. I'm not saying I was expecting that to happen, but I did think you could approach double digits down when I saw that, and hadn't looked at the chart yet. But I want to throw a weekly up of ASML just to give you an idea of the roller coaster that this has been. Like for a name that's, like it's the biggest chip or second biggest tech company in Europe, I believe. They used to be the biggest. I think it's, forget who it is. It doesn't really matter. They pulled back 60% in 2021, and it feels as if that wouldn't be ridiculous if we had that kind of a move here as well. And you pretty much almost gotten it. It was over 60%, but if you get down into that 500 or test down in the 500s, it wouldn't be crazy. You've got everything looking poor here in Chipland, and until you get a positive headline, I think most of these are just resuming their downward trends and not holding this, whether it's the 50 or the 200. Then a weekly chart, it's underneath the 200, let alone the daily. So this is a stock that I like the company, but I just feel like there's more downside potentially to be had. But it's encouraging that they're only down 4 points here, and at least there's some buying going on. Just remember, if you are trading this, I don't imagine too many people would be day trading this stock or interested. Maybe you play some options. Their primary listing's in Amsterdam, so at 11:30 when that closes, you tend to see a little bit of volume in there and a bit of a change. But yeah, a little surprised they're only down 4 points. I think that's a silver lining based on that number, that they're not down further. It's not saying I'd buy it, but I'm kind of happily. Well, Sharif just said he bought it. I just don't want to be buying much of anything until good news, until things settle down after their earnings. So I want to see, because I can say I'm glad they're only down 4%. But if by the end of the day today they're down 9%, then that's obviously not true. And if by tomorrow they're down 9 or 10%, well, then that changes everything. If they settle in this range, then yeah, I think that for a long term, then it's not a bad place. I want to be waiting for earnings, and we've just got theirs, and the reaction isn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, missing on sales, guiding lower. I mean, I came in, thought it would be, I said industry probably was it down 8%. So that'd be my target. I'd say probably get down 8% today, and then you look to buy the dips. I just don't think the space is right. I mean, I think all of those chip names, as Neil said, it's a wait and see environment right now. So I'm going to wait and see. And right now, I just want to buy ETFs instead of individual stock names. I think the pressure on all of these individual names is just so strong right now. So ASML, the first look at sort of the chip space for this earnings season, and it was a bad one. So you could see Nvidia down today. Obviously, this is just Apple. Nvidia down today, AMD down today, and there's other stories behind these individual names, of course, with the 5.5 billion there, the curbs being put in to shipments over to China. But at the end of the day, it's just not the right space You've seen healthcare, you've seen a lot of these other. There's not too many ETFs that are doing anything right now. Financials are kind of through the
Gold.
gold. Well, yeah, we just talked a little bit about gold, but it's just you can wait, you can sit on your hands. AMD is down 7% today, so it's like if you had just bought this name down here, great. But other than that, man, there's only been 3 days that are under where we are today. It made 52-week and not all-time lows, obviously. 52-week lows down there at $78, and we're not too far away from that now. You have actually just 2 days traded below where we are right now on AMD. So it's like you didn't miss the bottom on anything. There's a lot of FOMO. We saw that big middle finger right here on the dailies to everybody that was short, and then now you're getting that right back because you're back halfway right now to last Wednesday where we had, I think AMD was up 20%, right? Or 22% or something that one day. So it's already given back half of its huge moves. So I just think they're all to follow. And unfortunately, earnings season is here. And it just gives another reason for companies to guide a little lower, which I think is the right thing to do. In uncertain times, I'm not sure I would guide at all, but...
I actually like what UAL did. They're just like
UAL,
UAL, they're just like, screw it, man.
There's another sector.
We'll just give two. We'll give you a rosy one, that if we have a recession, here's the other one. Because we don't have a clue.
Why not?
And they're just...
Look at the NASDAQ. It's down 2%.
It's a real good level of honesty from UAL, I think, when they did two guidances, just saying a toss-up.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, I'm writing down all the shorts, man. That's why I was looking at Apple. I've got AMD written down as a short. Looks like the NASDAQ's breaking right now. We got to go NASDAQ short again today, down 1.73%. I don't know. It's not getting any better out there. That is for sure. After a little bit of a muted day yesterday where we had a roller coaster, up, down, flat, nice run at the end, nice tank at the end. And then at the end of the day, we come in today being down that 1.7%. CES only down 1%. So it's double the pain, double the fun, double mint gum over there in NASDAQ land. All right.
I like gum.
It's time for Rahim Alani. This is a man who's been talking about many different sectors. And today's going to be energy, I believe. Also gold. He's been nailing gold, copper, some of these different plays that have been coming through.
I'm really hoping
gold 3,300 an ounce.
It's a beast.
Absolute monster.
Talk energy up, Rahim.
From one monster to another, it's Rahim Alani. Let's go get him, guys.
Raheem brought his towel today because it's been a stressful couple of weeks.
It's been a stressful couple of days.
Yeah.
I was practicing for the push-up challenge, boys. I'm ready.
Raheem's down.
So, my wife insists I throw in the towel.
You have a third.
Not going to begin. We'll see.
On gold, you and I were just discussing the simple fact that I want to get to the data that you were just mentioning, but
Yeah.
I messaged you yesterday, and I was looking at a yearly chart of gold miners.
Yeah.
And you got to go back to 2012 is where gold miners, GDX, is at this point, and gold itself is just obviously continues to run.
Yeah, no, it's a weird phenomenon that we're in because no one's seen that big delta move of an actual dollar amount in such a short period of time. To get to the first 1,000, it didn't happen until the 70s. The next 1,000 happened in the 10s, 12 is when I believe it happened. The next 1,000 is now in 25.
Right.
And so these gaps are shortening, and the math isn't mathing right now. The math suggests, I've used that one a couple of times. The math suggests that by 27 we'll get to 4,000, but I think if we just keep sitting here, we might get like a couple
3,300 this morning.
A couple weeks ago we were on, and it was at 3,000, and now it's gone to 3,300.
Crazy.
It just doesn't stop because there's uncertainty in the market, right? It's a holder of value when there is uncertainty. Like we had talked about pre-election, if everything had gone a certain way and everyone had won what they were supposed to win, and everything was copacetic, then gold would have just been nice. It would have sat over there at 2,000, 2,500. Mm-hmm. But with chaos comes everyone runs to flight of safety, right? Yeah. And banks are doing it too because they're the big purchasers of gold.
Just to recap on that, what he was just saying, it took until 1971 to get to 1,000, 71 to 2012 to get to 2,000, and 2012 to
25
an hour ago to get to 3,000 essentially, and we're already at 3,300. So
and so the math is by 27 we'll be at 4,000, but again, I think it could be any day now.
it's $700 away. It's crazy.
Yeah.
all that said, we were going to talk about energy names here because energy, obviously not strong in that sense, but heading in the opposite direction, broke some key levels.
Yeah.
Continues to come back to the downside. From a high level standpoint here, what do we need to know?
Yeah, so I think from a high level, we've got two different things that are occurring. You've got OPEC Plus, who controls the supply, and supply is starting to move up. And you've got demand, which is, just people like us, whoever. Demand for oil is starting to drop because we don't know what's happening with the economy. How much money do you want to spend on your car, your gas, your flights, all of those things. So when you've got a problem where demand is dropping, you've got supply just continuing to push up. And oil now is, what are we at, $62, if we're lucky, at $62. The Biden administration had previously put in kind of safeguards and interventions in place to keep oil around that $69, $70 mark. And it looks like there is no real safeguard in place with the Trump administration to keep oil above, above 50 for sure, but above 60, we're not really seeing that impetus there. And there are a number of countries that are kind of skirting around their OPEC requirements, which is what's pushing up the supply. And that's causing an issue for anybody that's energy adjacent, including Canada and the US.
Right. So if we come down a level then and look at some individual names, the price action definitely nowhere near as volatile as the rest of the market, even though we are seeing the underlying come off and continue to leak a little bit here. You brought a few interesting charts here. SOBO, dual listed here, so TSX and NYSE in the US. What do you see here? Yeah,
that's a newer name. It went public in October of 2024. It's a spinoff from TC Energy. So it's had a nice chart up. And again, energy names, these kinds of energy names, because they don't have that kind of high friction, they're not really, small cap trader. That's where we all run to. So actually, shout out to my dad who told me about this one a few months back. He said he had bought some, and he said, "What do you think of it?" And I said, "Never even heard of it." Looked it up months ago, and I'm like, "Yep, we'll put a little bit of that and put it away." And it's one that you probably won't think about. And if it goes up 10%, great. If it goes down 10%, it's not a big number, but you've got some good energy exposure there. And again, because it did spin off from TC Energy. So they control about 3,000 miles of pipelines between Canada and into the US. They go into Illinois, North Dakota, and into the Gulf Coast. The reason I thought this one was interesting for everyone out there was they had a small oil spill last week, and oil spilled at one of their pipelines in North Dakota. So you would think that might be an issue. But apparently there have been 3,500 oil spills in North Dakota since 2010 with over 1 million barrels. So apparently...
Didn't hear about those ones.
You didn't hear about those ones. And this is not a big deal, apparently, because the stock traded down a bit off of it. So there was a small buying opportunity there. So anyway, something to take a look at. $21 billion in revenue, massive companies. And these are ones, again, because they have those pipelines that run through the Keystone pipeline. They're going to be ones, given what happens with Canada, US, what US does, what Canada does, just names to look out for, depending on which side of the pendulum, political-wise, you see.
From a fundamental standpoint, you've probably looked at all of these charts. Is it the pipeline side or is it the producer side that's looking a little bit better right now?
It's a great question. I guess it sort of depends. Are you the guy that farms the chickens, or are you the guy that brings the eggs to the store, right? So it's the same question. It depends on where you lean on that. I think that the ones that might have a little bit more price friction might be the ones with the pipeline exposure, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be, they rely on the producers. If Canada gets its act together and builds pipeline and builds exposure that allows it to ship its oil and gas to different parts of the world, then the whole world's a different story. And maybe that's, again, we talked about it a little while back. Maybe this is the impetus to get the Canadian government to do things. But the pipeline companies are definitely ones that are going to have that net exposure, because their market might potentially get smaller.
Yeah, just at a very first glance level, Cenovus, the next one here, CVE, again, NYSE, TSX, dual listed here, definitely nowhere near as strong.
Yeah, again, it's fallen off because of the fact that people are unsure about where it's going, because we don't know what's happening. And most of their exposure is oil and natural gas in Canada. They refine in Canada and the US. So companies like that are going to have that sort of exposure. They do believe in themselves, like we've always said, if you love yourself, you buy yourself. So they have announced an additional 125 million shares of a share buyback this year. So that's one of those things where they do still believe in what they're doing, and they're doing that on top of 133 million shares they did last year.
Another pipeline here. Let's jump down to PPL. Interesting chart as well. Again, relative strength coming into play here, back to almost highs.
Yeah, getting right back up to it. It traded up as high as $60 this year. It's trading around, what, 57, I think, right now?
Yeah.
$30 billion company. But this one is just focused on pipelines, logistics, terminals. Like, that's all that this company does. They don't have any real oil and gas exposure per se, where they own assets and they do things like that. So just focus on the pipeline infrastructure. So if you look at that curve, on that chart over the year, it's a beautiful chart. I can't believe I just said the word beautiful like that. I like the bond market is. Sorry.
Maybe not quite, but
it's a nice looking chart, and we've seen a nice lift. And again, you saw that dip down just on the back of the uncertainty. So if you want to play that uncertainty volatility, some of these names might be where you might get a little bit of that torque.
One that's probably more familiar to a lot of people, Suncor, breaking down here. I mean, a lot of these, again, on the producer side, tend to follow maybe the price of the underlying a lot more closely than the pipeline side. But Suncor looking a lot like crude oil here.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, we don't know, is crude going to dip below this kind of $62 mark? And so if you want to play a name that is very, very correlated to the price of oil, then Suncor is definitely one that follows that trend where you don't actually want to buy an actual barrel of oil. This is one that's going to follow that. And it depends on what your take is. Like I said, there is a lot of supply coming online. There is no real impetus to push demand up. So where does the price of oil go? Does it have legs to get back to 70? I just don't see it at this juncture, which is why I think the delta is a little bit smaller. But again, your bottom side protection is much higher.
A lot of support coming into play. Great stuff. I think we're early days as well, obviously, on the energy side of things. Drill, baby, drill wasn't too long ago, it feels like, at this point.
Yeah, it depends on the weather. It depends on, who's stroking the check.
Rahim Alani, Managing Director over at OCI. Great to see you.
Likewise.
Thank you very much, Rahim. Look,
Yeah, I know.
you're absolutely allowed to say that that's a beautiful looking chart on PPL. There is nothing wrong with that. You show me something that's closer to its highs than the recent dip that we just had, which hasn't even broken an uptrend in this market, that's respecting the major moving averages on the right side of it, because you don't want something which is respecting the moving average underneath. It's a beautiful looking chart, and I have no issues saying I looked them up. They're not terribly expensive relative to their peers. It was like a 18 or 19 PE, and the rest of the spaces was at forward PE, I should say, and then the rest of the space is at a 22. So yeah, you got to pick and choose, because with energy, it kind of cuts both ways. Like, you do have, and I know that CVE chart doesn't look all that great. It was Synovus trending to the downside. Like, you've definitely got winners and losers. So you should acknowledge where things look good and where they look strong, because everyone's always trying to pick a bottom or interested in picking bottoms. But like, I'd rather just be in a boring uptrend in something than be picking bottoms. That's why I own Enbridge here in Canada. Like, I'm not messing around with anything in that space that I'm not feeling comfortable about or that looks like this. So great look on that PPL. I think it actually looks like pretty constructive. I don't know too much about it. I've never been in a pipeline play, but yeah, thank you, Rahim, for that one, because it is a beautiful looking chart. Say it every day.
Yeah, there's lots of good names out there, and it's good to highlight, energy names that are going the other way, because there are always winners and losers, and that's why we like to have Rahim, Alani to come through here and discuss, potential catalysts, what these stocks are looking at, future, especially when we talk metals and stuff like that, different projects that are coming down the line, and yeah, it's just the market. There's thousands of companies. A handful of sectors that you want to invest in at any given time. It's always nice to dig down, pick the winners and pick the losers as we go. And right now, tech is been a big loser, so it makes sense that we do go in there and go to something that you can actually, either drill, find somewhere, rare earth. I mean, we talked about that company MP Metals going crazy. Those materials stocks also going to the upside right now. So yeah, lots of different value to be found in this marketplace. You just got to be patient and look for it. And as Raheem said, gold was just down to 275 GLD, now back up over $300 one more time here and starting to go higher, 3,300. I mean, 3,000, we were just talking about it, and that was a huge number. Well, it's 10% higher. Like,
you can't just print gold.
Yeah, nothing seems to be stopping right now. Peter Schiff looks like he's finally getting the way here, and it's been a good year for the gold bug, that is for sure. So, yeah, look, we're excited to get this day going. It's 9 o'clock right now. We'll get some of the dark pool prints coming through. Then we'll get those imbalances closer to 9:30, and then we'll be on like Donkey Kong, because right now the NASDAQ is now at lows of the morning, down now 1 3/4 percentage points. So it's not good.
But spirits are up for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you for the super chat. Love the name. Neil Sean made a killing yesterday trading one stop Palantir options long. Rinse and repeat. And huge credit to the show. Please keep up the great work, fellas. You can never learn too much. Love the little. We all need to be thinking about that. It's April. It feels like it's the winter again, and I refuse to wear my winter jacket. So shout out to the West Indies and shout out to St. Vincent and Grenadines. Shout out to Palantir for having such a strong upward day. PLTR. It was a rocket. It didn't quite get to that 100 level. Kind of felt like it was inevitable at one point in the afternoon, but it got real close, man. It got real close. Unfortunately, thank you, Nvidia. Thank you, ASML. Thank you, the overall market. Otherwise, we'd be testing 100 today.
Yeah, thank you. Palantir is like single-handedly saving my account. So I'm very, very happy with Palantir. A monster stock just keeps on going. Probably the only tech name that I could stamp a buy on right now, I think, would be Palantir. So yes, my love affair for Palantir does not stop. So thank you for the super chat. Let's keep on going and go back to the desk.
All right, lots to understand here this morning as we get going. Individual movers, and also keep in mind there's always going to be the headline risk today coming through as well. So we'll keep that, or keep an eye out for that. The market back downside right now. Let's get a look at the futures.
54.29, Brendo. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. Well below that at the moment, with the headline coming in about chips overnight pushing the market substantially down. The overnight high 54.25, excuse me. The overnight low 53.40. We're somewhere in between here at 53.75. So we're going to use 5400 as resistance until we can clear it. If we do, we're looking at 54.25 as support. If we continue selling off, Brendo, we're looking at that overnight low 53.40 as support.
Day lows right now coming into play here for Nvidia. Let's get into it. If you haven't done so yet, jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. It's free. Why not? Just go grab it. All you need is your email address. Nvidia, top of the list here this morning, as it should be, dragging down the entire market. As I mentioned, we're touching at least new lows currently here for Nvidia. I mean, finally we get this confirmation. It was kind of floating around in the ether the past couple of days, and after the close last night, that was the big move if you missed it.
It was big. It's real big here. $5.5 billion, guys, is a charge you're going to have to take for their Q1 export restrictions on the H20 AI chip to China and other regions, excuse me. As of April 9th, the U.S. government requires now a license to export that H20 chip, effectively ending shipments to China, Brenda. So the H20 chip was designed specifically for China back in 2022, 2023, and it's generated about $12 to $15 billion in revenue in 2024 alone. It's basically a scaled down version of the H100, the H200, their Hopper chip, the widely used chip, Brendo. A couple of tweaks in there to make it exportable to China. China has fallen now to number 4 for Nvidia's sales market after the US, Singapore, Taiwan. We talked about that Singapore story. Revenue from China halved after the export ban. And starting next month, though, new AI diffusion rules may restrict even more exports beyond the current specific chip bans. And that's had a whole bunch of different rating agencies drop Nvidia's price target today.
I was reading an interesting take on this whole tariff thing. And there was a time way back when where Mexico was the jumping off point for products and goods coming into the U.S. because there was no taxes involved. Do we just get to a point where a Singapore becomes the more significant exporting hub versus China just because their tariffs are less than China or,
a great point.
you know, so we'll see what happens, obviously.
And
but-
you saw, remember some of these tariffs that he put on random islands?
Yeah,
I think that's specifically to get around that.
Yeah, and preemptively targeting that type of idea. Not good. When I first saw the story last night, I actually, just a quick glance, I thought it said 55 billion. Ooh. And then I took a double take and it was like, no, it's 5.5 billion, but still, it's a B, guys, for Nvidia.
5 Bs. Shout out to Raheem. 5.5 Bs, and it's bad. Bad. I can't do half of that. Anyway.
What are you, Michael Jackson over there? You know I'm bad.
My daughter loves that song, but she just thinks it's just Despicable Me to her. I try to explain, like, that was a really famous song before that Despicable Me movie. She's like, no, it wasn't, Daddy. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you'll learn someday, but she does love...
It wasn't, Neil.
She does love Michael Jackson. So Blue Ocean, this time, now when I talk about Blue Ocean...
Billie Jean.
Okay, so...
That's one of my jams.
Billie Jean is better than Thriller. Thriller's
I like
a great,
Man in
great
the Mirror.
video.
I mean, I like...
But...
Right. That's a good
Human Nature is my favorite Michael Jackson song. And Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. That's another one. Wanna Be Starting Something is up there as well. I go all...
Well, the Jackson 5 stuff is great.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
I like Free Willy.
Free Willy. Joseph's talking about Free Willy.
I don't know even the song. Want to be there.
No one knows the lyrics to that song.
Like the River Jordan.
And nobody knows the rest of it, though. I don't know the rest of that.
That's it. And then there's a whale jumping around.
He jumps. So what's the kid's name?
Yeah.
Yay.
And
like that whale wouldn't land right on his ass.
You know, that's the other thing, man. Anybody that goes and watches like dolphins that have been captive and all that kind of stuff, down with you. All of that stuff, man. Free all those dolphins.
Hold on a second.
Free all those whales.
Hold on a second.
That's a
hold on a second.
What is it called? World or whatever?
If you go down to...
Short Marine Land.
Down in Florida, when I'm in
down.
spring training every single year and I go to the aquarium at St. Pete's, it is a rescue aquarium where they save dolphins, and while they're nursing them to health, you can go check them out. Like, they even show you the prosthetic fins and stuff.
Just people that capture dolphins, they can ride them. There's a
difference between going to an aquarium that's helping animals and then releasing, trying to nurture them back, and then you can go see them and see what they're doing, as opposed to like marine land. I think so. I always try to support. I love the aquarium. I love the aquarium out in St. Pete's.
We're not. I mean, we have a great aquarium here too.
I love St. Pete's.
But, you know, it's more like when you go down to the islands and stuff like that, and these guys are captivating these dolphins just so people could pay $100 to swim with them.
Which is silly.
Give me a break.
All right. Nvidia, Nvidia want to look short today, but I'm happy that Blue Ocean's working, so I can show you overnight. Overnight had a 106 top in here, so it was a nice upward trend. You'll see like the futures caught some bids, and then you had like Nvidia and a lot of the chip names were able to catch a bid. Now we can go back on over, and the 106 ends up being already resistance here. I wrote down on my note I also liked 107.5, which was like the prior low from last week, or from Friday, I believe it was. Yeah, so I still like that, but 106 first. We're shorting into the 106 level. I mean, I also had, Intel, obviously the gap down off the 20 level as well. I don't know if we'll get any kind of a pop that gives us a shot at that one at 20. So the pivot on Intel is just looking at the 19. The target from yesterday in the short was like a 1975. So that and the 20 level, looking to short pops in the chips today. I won't trade ASML. You know, $700 stock. Its primary listing is over in Amsterdam. There's just a lot about it that I wouldn't necessarily want to trade unless I was taking it in Amsterdam. So it's going to be Intel and Nvidia for me.
All right, I logged into Apple Music. I will be playing Free Willy's song pretty soon. Okay, so I had written down here AMD. It's called Will You Be There? So I'm going to get that in a second. All right, so I had written down here on the sticky note that we wanted to trade AMD short. So I don't think we're going to get to that 92 marker at all. I just said, you know, these curbs that are being thrown on these shipments, I just want to fade pops as usual in this space today. You know, again, when we're writing the note down, AMD's up here at 89. You know, just got news in my ear about AMD.
Yeah.
Oh, some sort of an assessment of a new license. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on with that story. But at the end of the day, I just don't think that AMD has the juice to get anywhere near back to positive. Like I was saying, the 200 period moving average, $92. We're going to wait to see if that happens. It looks like it's more going to be a short near in and around 91. Remember, when we're writing the note, like this is 830. Right? So that's where we're at 92. Now we're coming down into 91. I like the fade here in AMD. I don't think this gets green. I don't even think it gets half back. So in trouble here, Advanced Micro Devices. It's been we called it Advanced Money Destroyer up at 150. So what is it now at $80, right? And so there we go. Nice move to the downside also in Nvidia. If it's a sort of an Nvidia story, AMD getting hit, even worse. So we'll have to wait to see. I want to fade the worst name in the building, and that's going to be Advanced Micro Devices. So for me, it's a short. You just saw it on the sticky note. Let's ride.
2 days in a row, 2% right now, back to session lows, essentially 153, trying to hold. I mean, there's a couple of analysts with negative notes on this. I was reading a couple of opinions last night after the close. You and I were just having the simple conversation of search as a thing has fundamentally changed.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's, forever for Google, or they'll find a way to bring Gemini back to the forefront.
Yep.
Apparently 2.5, 2.5, I haven't used it, but 2.5 is actually really good. That said, the traditional ad revenue business for Google has fundamentally changed.
Brando, here's how I know things are changing. My old man is using ChatGPT, okay? So if he's using ChatGPT, well, then we're on to something. No, seriously, though, guys. I mean, I rarely go into Google search, unless I'm looking for a specific website. But if I have any sort of informational query, it's ChatGPT or another LLM.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what happened today with Google. So they're being sued, Brando, for 5 billion quid, 5 billion sterling pounds, which is about 6.6 billion US dollars, for allegedly abusing its dominance in search advertising. It was filed by the competition law professor Orr Brook. He's representing hundreds of thousands of UK businesses. It's a class action lawsuit who have been using Google Ads from January 1st, 2011 to present. The lawsuit is claiming that Google overcharged advertisers by restricting competition in search and advertising services. The key allegations is that Google forced Android phone makers to pre-install Chrome and search. They paid Apple billions to be the default search engine in Safari, and they gave preferential functionality to its own ad tools. It also asserts that Google's search dominance limited options and drove up ad prices unfairly. But just, this is more European fines on American companies. Here's a bit of a timeline there. Google fined $4.3 billion back in 2018. Brendo, Meta facing an FTC trial. Microsoft and Amazon are under a UK probe. And the new Digital Markets Act out in England has been kind of the precursor that they've been using.
Yeah, we'll see how things play out here. The Apple story, I mean, that's been around for a long, long time. And it was many, many, many years they were just paying Apple. So what do we do here, guys? Google 2+ already this morning, back to last week's levels.
Yeah, everything is gapping down, and you're just continuing to make lows after losing VWAP on the NASDAQ. The good news for Google is it's going mostly sideways here, but that's at the end of the good news. It wasn't part of the trading plan. I don't know that I'd want to swing it in there because I see Tesla in there, China's already there, so I like Alibaba, and we'll be getting to that, and then we just talked about the chip names. So at the open, it won't be Google that's the first place I'm looking. I strongly want to quickly show something. See that little overnight dark pool wick? It's going to skew and make that look like a heck of a reversal yesterday, but no, the resistance has been at the 160. It just seems to me, and for a lot of names, and look, I like Google. I own a bunch of Google in my account as well, and lots of people do. And I like what they're at least able to do. I love what's going on with YouTube. I think that's fantastic for them. I think eventually Quantum, they'll be a good player. They'll be a big player there as well. They should be fine, but we're trending right back into some of these lows. And you just did the little bit of a U-turn. At least trend to 150 today would be the place. Like, it's in the 147 to 150 area, like that bottom, and then these closes 147 to 150. I think that's kind of your target area for the next potential bounce on Alphabet. But I doubt I'll be trading Alphabet today.
Yeah, I'm a buyer of Alphabet down in that 140 area. I mean, it's been getting really, really clubbed down here. And I mean, I think the play for quantum is something that we have to pay attention to because that's going to get hot at some point. It's going to be the talk of the town. This is here. Here it is right here. Here you go, Joe. I'm listening to this right now. This is what I'm talking about here. You know, you get the Free Willy right there. What's up, Sharif? I mean, it's either this or we talk about Google. I mean, I think that this is probably the better stuff right here. So there it goes right now. Michael Jackson. We'll be listening to Michael Jackson all morning long in the background. You got to enjoy yourself as you trade. So yeah, 153. Like it's not really on my radar, but the story is a pretty good one there for the short story. And you didn't really get back to the 50-period moving average. We're well under everything right now. This name really fell from graces real hard. And real quick right there. As competition, ChatGPT is still going to be an issue. 173, 175. That's the 200-period moving average. We'll see where we go from there. But for me, it's a huge downside push right now. I do think we get back into this area, and I'll buy some Google down here. I mean, I am overexposed to this name. But again, I do think there's going to be some value here at some point. To think that these American companies that have overcome many challenges from the FTC, from DOJ, from many different spots in Europe through Asia, they're going to get it figured out at some point. It's just this is the bleed, right? So right now there is concern, obviously, in the space. You can see what the Nasdaq is doing. This day continues to go lower. Not too much volume, 500,000 shares, when a lot of that is coming from this dark pool. I'm short Google, but I'm not short Google, but I would be short Google today. And I think you just got to wait for 153, 154. I mean, that's where you are right now. Wait for a little bit of a pop and play off VWAP. But for me, down 2% here. I'm going to choose the chip names that are down 7 to look short, and I'm going to look long on a name like Palantir. So I'm just going to wait for Google to settle down. Maybe we get into that 140. Maybe you put a bid down there somewhere at 145 or so. Maybe you do get a flush in the next couple of days. But there's a capitulation coming in this space at some point for these tech names. And I think we might have had one little flush there to 140. Let's see if we can get another one. That, to me, would be a buy zone for Google, back up to 200 on better days.
Right, AMD, there's a note on AMD here. Move over Nvidia and your $5.5 billion. AMD going to take $800 million in potential downside action here as a part of this new U.S. export control. That just coming through here. So AMD with a slight downtick there, now 7.5% for AMD on the morning. Let's talk about UAL trying to turn back downside as well. Up nicely though, 6% here on a beat.
Very unusual here, Brendo. They dropped two different guidance pieces, one recession focus and one non-recession focus. Let's talk about what they're doing here. So they maintained their full-year EPS guidance of $11.50 to $13.50. However, they introduced a recession-adjusted range, guys, chart please, at $7 to $9 EPS, citing economic unpredictability. The company declared the macro environment impossible to predict, which is a rare move in earnings. Starting in Q3, United plans, Brando, to cut domestic flights capacity by about 4% to match weaker U.S. travel demand. However, international and premium bookings remain strong, with premium up 17%. Looks like the rich are not hurting right now. And international up 5%. Domestic units still dropping 4% year over year. How they did in the current earnings, 91 cents adjusted EPS beating, revenue 13.21, missing the 13.26, and they swung a $387 million profit after last year's quarter, $124 million loss.
But no mention of free Wi-Fi.
Oh, I know. That's American Airlines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to come through with it too. AAL yesterday said free Wi-Fi for everybody.
I hope they're using Starlink.
I'm down.
No, eventually everybody does it. You're just going to get to that point. It'll happen. One of the rare charts that looks good today, that's not like, obviously, reverse ETF is going to look pretty good right now. Gold is going to look pretty good. Like the VIX will probably look pretty good as well. But this is a nice gap up. All I would say is 72.5. You got a wick in here, but that's a pretty distinct. You break away from this, and UAL has a chance to go. It's not just any old resistance. Like this has been here pre the lows, like before the dump. We had resistance at that 72.5, and you got the 200 period standing in your way as well. So I do think because of that, you probably dip first in UAL. But if we go dipping, I look to be short some other things early. But if this breaks, if the opening range closes above 72.50, this is a trend long. today.
All right, we talked about this a little bit last night there with Brian Shannon. Shout out to Brian Shannon. Oh, by the way, I just tweeted this out. It was really hilarious. Thank you, Brian, for retweeting our Trader TV research note there yesterday. Over 20,000. There it is. Look at this. Look at this handsome gentleman. Yo, what kind of shirt you got on there, my guy? Right there. There it is. So there we go. We are twinning last night there. Brian Shannon and myself yesterday twinning. We talked about that. I can't compete. I already tweeted that out right there. Strong fashion or weak fashion. But there's Brian Shannon. A big shout out to him as we talked all about airlines. You can go find that segment there. But anyways, I was mentioning to him the Jets ETF, and that was the fact that, you know, it is starting to curl up a little bit from those bottoms. We did have that move in Delta. We had that move in American Airlines, as we just talked about. Now it's UAL's turn. 1750 looks like a good bottom, all the way up to 1950, and now trying to get a little bit higher off of that as well. Let's see if we can get through 20 bucks. But this gives you exposure to the top 5 airlines. So if you like the story, more to come, right? I mean, UAL, we just looked at AAL. A lot of these names have been beat up as people worried about, first of all, we in Canada, you know, there's travel advisories. There's all these things that are happening right now. People want to stay in their countries instead of moving outside. But American Airlines, again, just near these bottoms, this could be a long as well, only up 1%. Maybe we do get that bump up to $11.50, $12. So for me, I don't love the airlines, but with oil prices coming down, we just sort of saw that. Maybe there is a chance here to grab some American Airlines, all said and done. So, yeah, I don't mind the spot there for AAL. Under 10 bucks is interesting, but, you know, we'll see. It's a key level there. NASDAQ pushing lower now, almost down 2%. Let's go figure out what's going on with those cyber trucks.
Yeah, Tesla going to pause bringing parts for Cybertrucks from China in an effort to get around some of these tariffs as well. Not really reacting to this. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were expecting this to come at some point anyway. That being said, as we were talking about right off the bat this morning, it feels like there's a ton of these things around anyways, and still tons of inventory as well.
There is, Brendo, and I saw it with my own eyes, so, you know, there's no denying that. So Tesla has halted, as you mentioned, Brendo, imports of key Chinese components due to obviously Trump's latest tariff hike. The 145% U.S. tariff on Chinese good has made importing parts prohibitively expensive, despite Tesla previously absorbing that 34% tariff that was on. The move could delay trial production planned for October 2025 for some Cybercab and some semi-truck projects, and push back mass production, sadly, into 2026 or beyond. The Cybercab was set to be built in Texas, while the Semi was going to be manufactured in Nevada. Tesla has gradually, though, been shifting their sourcing to North America, especially over the past 2 years, in anticipation of these tariffs, which were obviously touted by Donald Trump during the campaign. Some core EV and autonomy components, though, Brendo, still are sourced from China, making it difficult to fully de-risk exposure. Piper Sandler, cutting Tesla's price target down from 450 to 400, citing the following: weak Q1 deliveries, gross margin compression, lack of clarity for and specs on the Model 2 pricing, and tariff-related disruption.
I was reading last night, I was telling you a little bit earlier, I was reading last night, they're still targeting June to start the cyber taxi in Austin. So that's coming. Robots are coming pretty quick here. So a lot more to this story, I think, still this year. We're working into a really, really tight range here after that big update going back to last week. Tight range, guys.
A lot, everybody, especially if you're going to try and bring more manufacturing to the U.S., a lot of it's going to be in robotics. But just before we go into Tesla, thank you, Chris L, for the super chat. We didn't miss it. And sorry we didn't get to it sooner. Lower highs on McD. McShorted, that's a good one. I like it. This is what you're talking about in McDonald's, obviously. So shout out to you. It's a strong, McDonald's has been a good, strong, stable stock. So I get it for like why in a day trade, this is like a pop and fade at those price levels, but it is incredibly strong and holding up well. Good defensive stock. So in a general sense, I'm more bullish on McDonald's than I would be in other sectors, like what we'll talk about here with Tesla. But I understand what you're looking at there for a day trade. Tesla, it's got the downward channel is obvious. It just did a death cross. You've had a pretty distinct range the last 4 sessions, 260 up top. We crossed 255. I was looking to fade the top end of that range. So on the note, it's like, how many times did I have to get up there and fade the same level before you try to take it? So I'm looking trend short, resume trend short, but I want to short pops in Tesla. It's doing a good job of getting to those highs this week.
All right, so that's Tesla. I don't have any notes for Tesla today. Apple, though, continues to go lower right now. I'm going to I am going to be short Apple. I wrote this down here at 201. So right now you can see the 200 period moving average is coming back in right now. China's not going to buckle on this. Apple is going to have a problem, obviously, getting these shipments through. The price of the iPhones. Just downside, man. Just more downside here for Apple. I think this continues through. They had a nice bump through $200. We said that if we stayed above 200, we wanted to go long. Now that we're below it, we want to go short. So for me, Apple is a pretty big short here today. And we're going to be fading any pops. And it's too bad because I see some of you in the chat were like, as soon as I write down the sticky note, I should just take the trades. But you know what? I mean, sure, that would be $1.50 in the money. But you never know where these imbalances are going to come out as. And they're out right now. So here we go to see if there's anything coming for Apple. It looks like a nice sell side imbalance. So there it goes. Apple down another. We got Smooth Criminal in our ear right now. And Apple, are you okay? Apple, are you okay, Apple? Because we are going downside right now as a nice little sell imbalance there of over 400,000 shares. NVDL with a sell. So that's not going to be great for that name either. Obviously, it's NVDA, but there we go. The little ETF or the 2X, I believe there. Yeah, that's it. So I don't really see too many other names on here that we've even talked. There's AMD's a bid. So that's nice. Get up, AMD, so we can short the you-know-what out of you. But yeah, there's Intel as well with a small buy. These are just 100,000 shares. So at this point, we're getting desperate looking for more names. Not much on there, but instead of Tesla, I'm all over Apple today right now. So we'll be that smooth criminal with this name and going short.
Now, the final topic here, we got Q1 GDP and we got more financial information coming out of China, and it was a beat everywhere. It looks like they're not really hurting over there. GDP for Q1 rose 5.4% year over year, easily beating that Reuters expectation of 5.1, driven by a stimulus-led recovery that began in late 2024. Retail sales as well did very well, 5.9% increase year over year, well above that 4.2% expectations. Industrial output, 7.7% year over year, well above that 5.8% expected. You guys see a theme here? Fixed investment rose 4.2%. The only sticking point, which remains to be really tough for China, retail investment fell 9.9% year over year. Their real estate industry, guys, continues to suffer.
Yeah, I mean, fine. They have some good numbers out of China. I'm not too concerned with that. I'm concerned with what's going on with Alibaba. 115 got faded. 113 was big in the aftermarket yesterday in Blue Ocean, and then 113 was a good short yesterday. In the aftermarket tonight or last night, 110 was the level on Alibaba. So I'm shorting in the 110 on Alibaba. Try to keep it simple. It was also a sell imbalance of about 130,000 shares. Not a huge number, but I did see it on the list as another one of these sell imbalances. It feels like that's what the wave is right now. So you ride the waves, and the waves are headed lower. So we get a pop in Alibaba. That's what I'm looking for at that open. I looked at NEO, and this was like the last time this happened, it was the same kind of backup idea on NIO. That 350, it's like low 350s area, yesterday's lows. If there's a pop and fade on NEO and not Alibaba, like can't get into Baba and NEO sets up, yeah, then I would probably go in and take that off of yesterday's lows or fade. But it's Baba first for me.
The spotlight, I wanna rock with you. And I wanna rock with you, BTC, right now, because this name here, we'll go over a 15-minute chart here. Bitcoin, nice little downside move. Looks like it's trying to test $83. We'll see if it can hold that, but underneath $83, yeah. That would be a problem. Shout out to Michael Saylor. But right into here, 84,000, 84.5. That level that we always talk about with the 200 period moving average. So right now we're spending a little bit of time underneath it. So we'll see if we can break below this 83 and then we get going on that one. So for me on IBIT, another one of those names that is on today's sticky note, and it's a 48 short. So this could come in closer than anything else. So right now we'll look for that IBIT short with only 1 minute to go. almost 1 minute to go. These are what we're looking at. We'll have a quick letter look at some of the plays. So AMD, I'm already offering AMD, but we're offering 91s. No, we might have changed that now as the 200 period coming back in. AMD is dead to me. That is for sure today. Apple, we're going to go short. We're offering 200 right now. That's, again, it's only $1.50 away. We could get up there. We just went down $1.50 in 1 minute, so maybe that comes back up. The TQQs, again, another big futures opportunity today. It's been like that. The TQs, the futures have been an amazing trading vehicle around here for the last couple months. $48 short. Let's see if we can get that. Again, it's going to need to fade any pops that are to the upside, and then Intel, we'll see where that can go in and around $20. I don't know. It's only down 3%. Probably should be down more. So we'll short it if it gets going. So those are my 4 or 5 plays that we're going to be rocking with all morning long.
And we are now going to the opening bell on a hump day. It is brought to you by Worksport WKSP over there on the NASDAQ. Let's get this party started in 2 and 1. Adara, let's go. It was actually a small spike on Intel that just got faded on the imbalances and now right back in through the lows. Nvidia first move up, so it's making a concerted effort to try to go higher, maybe test that 106. But it's, wow, Intel just really accelerated to the downside. I looked over. Yeah, that's already broken the low of the day. All right, 19.4, forget about 19.7. Sometimes you got to make the pivot. I always say this when Intel's first move is down. That's just how it is. We'll play off the pre-market highs if we don't get a shot at that 19.4. Tesla not really doing a heck of a lot, just slightly heading into the downside here, on Tesla. Yeah, market's trying to bounce here a little bit.
Yeah, here goes Apple. So we're short Apple. First trade of the day is now in for everybody right there. We're short Apple. We had written down 201, right? So we'll go short it tonight. I just said, like, Apple probably has that move of $1.50 to the upside right now. So we're short here at $200. We're just going to chill out and relax. Whoops, sorry, that's Intel. There's Apple. We're going to be short Apple right now. Oh, look at that move higher right there. AAPL. We're going to be short that one and wait to see if it can get up to that 201. We have some more shares waiting for us at $200.50. Hey, man, maybe the market does go back upside and maybe we're wrong, which there it is. Now we are short at $200.50 on Apple. We'll give it a little bit more than 201, but it looks like it wants to go real early right now. This market is back with some vengeance here this morning. So, yeah, so far so good. We'll just continue to hold on to this. The NASDAQ is making that move higher, so no surprise that Apple's trying to go. We just put our stop in above 201, so if it does get up there, then that is a stop out for me. So we'll see if we can get something going here, short at $200.16.
Nvidia just popped to the upside as well. Oh, charts froze. I'll have to give the black chart in here for you so you can actually see it. We just came into that 206. I have my stop at the quarter or just above the quarter area. Tried to pick some up on the way back to the downside. Like it broke 106, came right back in. Thought we'd be able to pick some up on the way down, hitting it. But I'm going to try and bid out the $0.50, see if I can get something in the 90 range to the south side. Hopefully my other chart is now good. Yeah, it's just good now. All right, so there you go. This was me trying to get it on the downside. So Nvidia popping with the market. NASDAQ's at VWAP, so we're at obviously a crucial point. If we break out the top, 107.75, 107.50 to 108 is essentially the next level up that I'm looking at. Intel also just popped into the pre-market high, so Intel just came in as well.
Oh, Apple, let's go. Here we go, man. A nice little early victory dance, but who knows? There it goes. Let's go. Let's go. We're bidding 79s right now there it is. Go. Did we get that? No, we did not yet. Get down, Apple. There it is. Let's go, man. The first banger of the day is in the building. We'll see if Nvidia and Intel obviously can follow suit here as the market looking to get faded, but we're already short Apple. It's a big one right there for us. When your trades hit, man, you have to put them on. You got to put them on with some size there, guys. Especially at this time of day. You never know what kind of move you're going to have, but we still have our stop out ready to go above that 201. So here we come back in. That's the TQs. But there's Apple right there. We got some bids there at 50. We actually got a 59 right now as we look for other trades, which is why we were on the TQQs. We're nowhere near that 48. I just thought maybe we'd get going similar to what we did with Apple. I think it's a good idea to not layer into shorts rate completely right now. We already have Apple. This should be a good one. I guess you cashed out of Nvidia, so let's go back over and see what's going on over there. I'm just short Apple probably for a while.
I am out of Nvidia. It did break that 106.25. Intel's pressing higher. I'm trying to get back into this bad boy. It's going to probably bounce off VWAP. We did not go over Palantir, everybody, and that's much to my chagrin. I like 93.5 on PLTR, so 91.5 and then 93. Those are the names I have. Those are the numbers I have in my note. It is starting to head to the downside, but I did favor a dip buy in PLTR. That's one name that we did not go over. Alibaba's doing absolutely nothing right now, so I'm not going to trade into that. We're trying to pick Intel back up if we can get some 40s. I'm short at 36, and I want to be able to get over 106 on NVDA. Tesla not doing much. It just broke 250 and came back to the downside. And yeah, not really seeing too much of anything outside of a couple of chip names, although BABA is starting to go higher. I just looked down at that chart, trying to get to VWAP. Yeah, it's not pressing into that 110 level off of the open, and the volume pretty light here on Alibaba. As I said, Intel's trying to get to 19.4. Like, I got it on the way back down. I wanted fills in here at 40. Obviously, we didn't get any. I'm going to pop right back on the offer. Sometimes you get the opening range twice here on Intel.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't realize Nvidia had gone up there. I thought this market was coming back in, but we do have Apple right now, which is your first right there, dollar club. So we're going to start to take a little bit out here, but still try to get a little bit greedy as well, right? I mean, that's what we've been doing, is trying to figure this all out. We still have 70% of this trade on right now. And yeah, man, we've hit it. We've hit a goal here. We'll wait to see how much lower we can go right now on the play. So we've got man in the mirror in our ear right now. We just had Pretty Young Thing, and Apple right now is a pretty good short as we come back in right now. Man, I didn't realize how good of a song this Man in the Mirror is. This is crazy. Okay, so 199.25. We're starting to go lower, man. This is exactly as it was written right there. It's a good position for me as we get to the downside. We do want to look at AMD because we don't have to just rest on... Man, I better turn this music off because I'm going to be on one very soon. There's AMD back up to 90, so we will have to have a quick little look over here at what we're thinking about doing. We wrote down, again, 92. Let's give it some gas and see if we can get back somewhere up there. 200 period right here, 91 coming into play. It looks like we'll be wrong looking to go short AMD, but that don't matter because we've got Apple, which is an absolute monster right now to the sell side there. Like I said, believe in your trades, take them, and hopefully send yourself to the moon right now, just like Katy Perry goes to the moon. We're going to the moon right now with this. Let's go to the downside as Apple mooning the net, but it is a downside play there. It's the only one we do have on. We were also looking, I didn't miss a thing for Adara, did I? Yeah. Test my
Keep an eye here on TGL. This is Treasure Global, small cap with about a 750,000 share float, almost 9% of that float is sold short. This one's rallied in the past, almost taking out pre-market highs here, announcing that they secured now we're above pre-market highs. This company announced it has an exclusive partnership with Mezify to become the sole distributor of its digital coupon platform. They're looking now for $2 to $4 million in annual recurring revenue, I guess, as a result of this partnership. TGL, small float, decent short float, and a news catalyst this morning. And back to you.
The other things that are going right now, those materials names are absolutely flying. That MP is going nuts. So just look, we're going to reload at the high, same place we got it before on Intel. But MP up now 11%. This is $28. That's where it rejected yesterday. It was a ridiculous candle. Oh, great. That chart crashed too. So I can't look at my 15, but 28 level was where it rejected yesterday. Big one for MP, 11% the upside. All those materials because of the stockpile that they were talking about in the US, that's brought a lot of the rare earth names and alike are headed to the upside. So shout out to anyone that's looking at those. We're just going to try to short these pops right back into that prior high. Alibaba does not seem to want to cooperate here. All it's doing is holding the low of the day. So VWAP looking like it's going to be the play. 110, that's a number that we might not be able to get. So the opening range is clearly headed lower on these Chinese ADRs, at least this one. And I said if I didn't get Alibaba, then I would look over at NEO off the 350 level. That seems like a much more realistic possibility. It's at VWAP as we speak.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're... If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change, Apple. So we're bidding down here 119.14. 199.14, sorry. As here comes, go, 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 go. Oh, it just was at 15. Ooh, we're waiting for a bid. Let's get that bid one more time. Look, if the market is rallying here and Apple is tank city, then we've got another one on our board today. We had this yesterday. Hey, Warren, don't worry, my guy. We ain't buying this stock yet, because there it goes. We are approaching, Sharif, almost $2 right now in the money on that one, as we get to go lower and lower and lower right now in the market, man. We've got good vibes here today. We've got another one on Apple. We took $4 yesterday on this name. Let's see what we could do here again today on AAPL. So, man, we are watching out for this. Again, one of our top idea was AMD, but that didn't even come close to hitting our spot yet. So we'll be ready for that very, very soon. An AMD short. But right now, oh boy, Neil, and everybody else, what a day to trade. One more time here today. You got to stick with what you're doing. Apple, downside. Ciao, Bella. We'll see how much lower. Yeah, over 10,000 people are watching right now. And you're watching the best of the best right now, as Neil and I are in these names right there. Neil's been in Nvidia. He's in Intel right now. He's got NIO on here. But we've got over $2 on Apple. Webull here up 5%. Let's go over and find out what's going on. Intel, Neo. That's all I'm looking at. If there's anything else in the chart or in the chat, you guys go. We did have Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is absolutely BTC.
Flying, hopefully?
Flying? No, I have it to the downside.
Oh, really? Okay, it's IBIT's up right here.
Oh, well, it's down. Well, it's down on the day, but it just turned now is what I was sort of getting at. It was flying, but it just did a heavy turn at the highs on IBIT. I did get into NIO. Alibaba's finally starting to come back up. We want to grab that. I just don't believe. Look, I know they had good numbers in China, but we know about the economic numbers in China. And sometimes you get a pop on those, and I'm usually not a believer, and it's trend down. So we're getting into VWAP on Alibaba, down 3.5 points. Just wanted to get to that 108.70 to 75 for sure. That ML still flying to the upside. And RCP Sear, I do see it. That one from yesterday, that OST we were trading in the afternoon, halted up. So this is when we tried to go long. I mean, it wasn't a losing trade. It just didn't really go very far off the 320 level. But gap down 33% in a halt up. Day two plays I never expect to be as good when you've already given up the gap. So just be careful. It lost it in the afternoon at about 3 and showed resistance there. So if you're into that short or into that long, just remember what happened yesterday at that $3 level. So NIO we're in. BABA we haven't been able to creep into. Don't mind being patient with this Nvidia because it's actually trending up. Like some of the chip names, Sans Intel, are putting in higher highs and higher lows. Like Intel, at least for now, is still putting in lower highs and lower lows. That's what you want out of a short trade. And you're right, Keith Kelthais. BTC hasn't done anything yesterday. We're still range bound in that as well.
All right, let's go back over and have a quick checkout. Again, another big shout out to my good friend Brian Shannon. Thank you for coming through last night as we had a crazy recap show. Every Tuesday, join us and join us every night for recap. We also posted up some gold there. Let's go over what we looked at. Apple 201. I mean, that's the short that we have on. It's $2 from in the money on that, almost $2.50 on that one. We have AMD waiting for 92. We have the TQs at 49 and IBIT at 48 and Intel at 1975. So those are the plays that I'm sort of waiting for. The only one that came in early was this one, and the rest is history. You got to be starting something here with Apple. Let me go check over what's going on Intel for myself. So absolutely nothing, so I'm not going to do this right yet, although you do have 1950 coming into play there, maybe for Intel as a possible short. The other name would be, and we just talked about IBIT. Let's just check out what the TQs are doing. I see on the NASDAQ right here that we are starting to pump a little bit higher, and that's 48, right? So that could be a decent level to go short right now on the TQs. If you're looking at a little bit, the problem is I'm already short. So now only, by the way, I only have 1/3 left now of Apple as we get some out underneath this 199, which was pretty cool. Yeah, just looking up here, right? This is why we wrote down 49. It looks like there was some support down here, but then we've broken lower. So I was looking to go short in and around 49, which is that level right there from yesterday. So we'll see if we could get back up there on the TQs. If we do, then it will squash our Apple trade. But for right now, we're $1.70 in the money as Apple just goes lower and lower, man. You look at the market ripping, and this is why you have to tune in to Trader TV Live. Like the market is up here since the open, and we've got this banger on right now on this short. So, Apple, different names, different moves. There it goes. What's up? I mean, this is what we're talking about, Apple, man. Marty, traders got to trade. You see us in these positions. That Apple trade rocked. We appreciate that. So we'll give you props up, man. You took a full position. We'll give you props up. That's what we're talking about. Take positions in things you believe in. So we go props up. We spin this for you, Mr. Marty, right there. Going to go diving. Hey, man, well, I'm here for you guys, but that's the whole point of what we're doing here, showing you what's possible early. Marty, enjoy your dive, my guy, and congratulations. I'll see you tomorrow. Great trading over on that side.
Yeah, go dive and do whatever it is that you do. Do you. Just keep the dolphins out of it, as Sean said. You don't want to do that. No, Nvidia just curled heavily. We just went for the ad on Intel. It's continuing to trend down. Tesla just lost 250. That's starting to look a little bit nasty. I thought for a second Palantir was going to catch a bid. It looked pretty good off VWAP for a second, but it didn't. That's still Tesla. Could enter again. Looked pretty good off VWAP for a second, and then all of a sudden it was like 70 cents lower. So let's let Palantir calm down a bit. If I like $93 on Palantir, don't want to jump into this too early. If you're underneath the volume weighted average price on the market, then I don't want to be rushing into anything to the long side right now. So let's be a little bit patient with that. Obviously, we're still not in Alibaba, as it's now allergic to the to VWAP. I don't want to chase this too far down. We're still in the midst of the opening range. And when that's a chance, I want to give us an opportunity to go like 30, 40 cents higher and get ourselves a good price on this name. As I said, the only things that we're in, Neo, that's kind of chilling out. Intel, I prefer getting in on the way down, so I wasn't able to add. That's me. When it tags the top, that's me trying to get the shorts above VWAP. Well, it just lost a bid. In a bid in front of the low of the day. Yeah. But remember on Intel yesterday, you had ample opportunity. You had all morning range to get the highs. You had afternoon to get VWAP. You had afternoon to get lower highs. This is the plan of action. When it trends down, and that's just how it rolls. So we'll stick with this one and also get a refill on the Joe from Randy.
Refill on Joe.
Yeah, let's go, Randy. Let's go. Apple is the trade of the day so far there. As we go down now, $2 now in the money. I know Randy's probably going to some clubs tonight, so we'll shout that out for Randy right there. But yeah, there goes Apple to the downside. We talked about it in our note that, you know, this China story is nowhere near being done. And there goes Apple to the downside. We're short right there, $200.50. Yeah, we all have some concerns, my guy.
Think?
How much is it going to cost them to move a big chunk of their supply chain back to the U.S.? Like, what's the price tag on that?
Very expensive.
Your new device, Mac, phone, iPad, whatever. How much more is it going to cost? And how much of that cost are they going to pass on to the consumer? So
it's going to cost a little less if you shorted Apple today because you get that money in your pocket. But you're right. I mean, you're a big Apple guy.
I am.
I mean, but the thing about Apple product is you don't need to upgrade.
You can just hold. You know,
it like my phone is the 12 Pro, and I haven't even. It doesn't even. There's no glitch, nothing as you continue to go. So I think it'll be okay. And like I said, man, the American ingenuity, the way these stocks have flourished over the last 20, 30 years, especially these big tech names, they will get this figured out, man. This, maybe they're not the smartest guys in the room, but they're pretty smart. They'll be able to figure out how to navigate through these this turmoil. So I think it is going to be a temporary issue, but there it goes, breaking down through $200 again.
Temporary is just painful.
Yeah, exactly. A little painful short there, and that's why we go short. So $2,000 entry iPhone, yeah, that may be the case for many of us very soon.
They said 21 to 23 for that fold. I think the fold is an issue because that's like a new thing that people were excited for. But at the end of the day, look, it's only a few years. There's even a decent chance that like tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, but like in weeks, you can have some kind of a deal get done, and then Apple's going to go screaming to the upside. But until then, they're just under pressure, as is the rest of the market. Let's get on over to the desk. We've got Adara.
Here's the 1-minute chart for the Canadian dollar against the US dollar. Nice little push here. Canada holding its interest rates here, 2.75%, exactly as expected. And again, just to hold, so the same as the previous. They did warn, though, tariffs could be pushing prices higher. For its part, the U.S. actually having an economic data release at 10 a.m. for the first time in what feels like a little while. At 10 a.m., we'll get the NAHB Housing Market Index and the month-over-month change in business inventories. Stay tuned. For about 10 minutes, we will get those numbers. Back to you.
numbers have mattered. Like, remember, we started the day off with a great retail sales number, and I'm using the word great because I don't care. You can't look at it any other way. It was like 4.6 versus like 2 something. But there was a little muted bounce off the bottom here, so that we double bottomed on most things. The NASDAQ just hit a low and popped back up there. I saw Tesla manage to make a low. But I look over at Nvidia, and we were in it early. It tried to come back and hold VWAP, but it is holding the bull flag. So until this either does a real big break of the volume weighted average price or this little trend or flag that it's got going on, do not want to fight that name. Because I look on over, I see Micron, load. I see Micron, and it's doing the same thing. You're seeing chip names that are showing some somewhat relative strength. Now, I know Intel's going to be a different story, but that's just it's its own beast. This ML stock that everyone is going ham about, whoops, not ML. I meant MP, the materials name, pulling back into VWAP. Didn't hold that 28, but still up 10%. This is the one that was absolutely hammed 2 days ago, bit of a pullback yesterday, but looking to hold on to a very key prior high, that 27.5. So if you're trading that, when in doubt, always zoom out. It's an obvious level. It's where it kind of crested yesterday before falling apart. If it holds that, it's a good contrarian play if you're only into longs.
All right, big shout out to my guy, Obi. Thank you so much for the kind words on the Apple trade, because right there, now it is $2.50 in the money as we get riding to that downside right now as we go here for Apple. So we'll just wait to see what exactly is going on right now with this name. But there it goes, downside right here for Apple. And we just posted it up. Make sure you guys do check us out all on our socials as we give you these trades live right there. Actually, it's funny because I got bad in my ear right now. So we say, who's bad? Apple. Nice downside movement. We wrote it down on today's sticky note that we wanted this trade with China not backing down. Well, there it goes. Apple. Bye-bye for AAPL. We're now basically 2 times our goal here for the day. As there it goes, Neil, it's now $1, $2, $3 now in the money on Apple. Good trade by you over there on Intel. We wanted this trade. Well, I guess it's a good short, but not doing anything right there for Intel. I did want to look at AMD actually as well. We had written down this short, but we had wrote down 92. So let's just stay very, very patient and see if we can get that. We'll also look at some Nvidia here as well. What a catalog, obviously, Michael Jackson has. Just keeps on hitting these bang. Now I remember the time in my ear right now. Another great joint.
That's
yeah, there's so many good songs, man, that we have on right now. Here it is right here. Remember? Oh, yeah, I remember this album cover, too. This album cover is hot right here. Let me just pull this down. I don't think we're going to get in trouble for showing this. There it is right there, man. Dangerous. Great cover there. Wow. Yeah, all right. That's pretty good. All right, so anyways, as we go, that's what we're trading right now. Wow, now Apple is, man. So we only have about 20% left. So we'll have to do a little better for holding it on. But, yeah, Dirty Diana, maybe we got to get that next time as well, man. We might be listening to some tunes every day if we got these kind of things going on for us right now. Nice downside play here for Apple. It's the only name that we have, and you guys were shouting at me, Sean, maybe get in the TQQs. Yeah, for sure. But, again, it doesn't hit my level. But there goes downside the NASDAQ. All we had written down here was short ideas today. We actually had IBIT written down as the short as well at 48. Ooh, that was definitely a missed opportunity. Exactly to 47.90. I actually have an offer at 47.95 right there for IBIT. That does not get hit. That's right there. So we missed. That's the 90. We're a little bit higher. We wrote down 48. We wanted that trade, so we'll see if that can hit. We'll put another bid down right now here near 197.40. But there it goes, man. It's just a. We talk about this every single day, man. Like when the market opens up, like my eyes just lighting up. Many opportunities here every single day to trade. And this is a perfect example. Neil, this is $3.50 here, still going lower. It does matter, what stocks you're looking at on a daily basis. Some go up, some go down. And right now, down goes Apple. The king has hit the mat.
The king has hit the mat. Well, I don't know.
Appreciate you, David.
If you hit the
Starr.
mat, you can't go any lower. You can go through the mat. This never really happened, but I think you have an opportunity to now, just because we just broke the low of the day. And if you're breaking the low of the day on the NASDAQ, sorry, I just got into Alibaba. Baba finally got to VWAP, so we get into VWAP on Alibaba for the first time here today. We're already in NEO. You saw Apple breaking lows. I just saw it NQ break the lows. I just saw Tesla also breaking the bottom in here and not looking very, very healthy. Intel already, like it already tested this low once and it's testing it again. So I want it to break through. You just cancel those offers. We didn't get those on the way back up. If it bounces off the bottom, now we've got to respect VWAP. Remember what I said about that trend? You don't want to let something off the hook. Like just because it was a good short here doesn't mean you don't want that and that and that and that. So if we get any kind of a pop, we want to be adding to this position. That's the idea. I want to add if we get VWAP. I want to add if we get that high of the day to continue to head to said downside. Palantir actually has a decent chance of getting into the target zone for a bounce. It's about $2 away now. 93 is the first look for me, and then 91.5 as Palantir, like everything else. I mean, it doesn't matter how strong you were yesterday. It's a different day today. So only new position was Alibaba off of VWAP. We'll bid 108s. We're in front of the $0.50, so every $0.50 into the low is an out.
954. All right, what do you guys want to talk about right here? We're now $4 in on this trade. We talked. It's funny though because Neil, yesterday we said we had a $4 winner on Apple, 204 to 200. It looks like right now here today we get the exact same trade, but this time it's 200 down to 196.50 right now for Apple as goes boom right there. Yeah, so Neil be in. Well, you see the three positions that he's in there. I'm just in the one. It's only been one. Oh no, now it's Thriller in my ear. Are we about to go a lot lower right now? I'm gonna get another piece out here at 68. Ooh, missed the 68. But our best fill down here though on this has been 88s. So there it is. We didn't miss it for long. Oh no, the werewolves are in the background right now. All right, I'm gonna go over. I mean, I've wanted Intel today too, so just nice move down into 918 right here and still going lower for Intel. So that's gonna be a good look there. We should have shorted it as well at 1940, but again, too obsessed with the trade that we do have on. Because you know what, man? It only, I know you can't hear the music. I've asked if they could pipe this in, but they cannot pipe it in from my PC there. But yeah, we've been listening to Michael Jackson all morning, and it's been nothing but
what's the copyright thing?
Good vibes. Yeah. You could do 9 seconds, I think. Nothing but love today for the shorts. Glad that we have some of those plays on for you right now as well. I'm just gonna, again, it's $4. We're in this game. I'm trying to focus on it. We are putting on shares, man. We're making days with one trade, and I think that's important. That's the style that I've been doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 snipes, as Obi says. And again, Obi, thank you so much for the respect there in the back. But yeah, we're just we're talking about making sniping trades, right? Picking levels that we like, hitting them for good value, and then watching it go. So we've made our day right now. It's almost 10 o'clock, and yeah, we're on this trade. We've got it. Our confidence is there. It is. All it does is take one, right? And so we've been doing it though over and over again with just consistency and making sure that you stick to what you had. We had yesterday, we had that Boeing trade yesterday short. Let's check out Boeing right now. We had this thing short at 158.75, got stopped out at 159, and then it went down immediately to 156 or 155 yesterday on that Boeing trade right here. We were stopped out right at this little wick right there at about 12:30. That's where we got stopped out, and then this happened. And we just bled down $4. Sometimes you're trying to hold for bigger moves and you'll get stopped out. So, you know, but yesterday on Apple, for example, we had the same note. I mean, I have the sticky note right here. We can show it to you. We had Apple written down. And now, by the way, we're into about 14% or so left. Yesterday's Apple trade was something very, very similar, but the other way around. We had this move right there at 204. Where was it? Right into here, I guess, all the way down into 200. And then that huge climb into the end of the day. And then it gave it up on the NASDAQ back in. And there's 200 coming into play at yesterday's close. So when we saw that today, it was like, thank you, come again there, Apple to the downside. So yeah, I mean, that's just the talk there. I'm in this because of China. We wrote that down. We're getting weaker or lighter and lighter on our position as the market's trying to battle back. Alibaba, probably another play there. I know you're on that to fade this China move.
So speaking of China, because you just mentioned it in Alibaba, it just bounced off the even dollar, so $0.50 VWAP into the even dollar 108. If it comes back in, holds the same high, then we reshort it. If it breaks that high, the original plan was 110. Obviously, if it doesn't get to your level, you adjust the plan. If you still like it, you don't have to. I chose to because I like VWAP. But if you break it, then I'll just wait till you get to that high of the day. But I don't want to let Intel off the hook here, as with this bounce in the, okay, fine, the market was bouncing. A second ago, the market was bouncing. Trust me, it was happening. And Intel was really close to testing the volume-weighted average price. It no longer is. Now you're just resolving at that pre-market low. So the re-entry I want is back in here at 1930. I think if you get to the highs, we'll cross that bridge if it's even possible for us to get there. There were some small cappers. My Halt scanner is gone. I'll have to reopen that up. I usually have a Halt scanner open up. A couple of things crashed on me this morning. But WIMI, just be careful with this. This has done 200,000 shares, everybody, and it's already 10 o'clock this morning. So liquidity is at a big time premium. We've always said if you get these things early, that's your best shot. So it's the first halt of the day, but this thing dumped at like 650, and there was no buying on the way down 2 days ago on it. So just be careful. Liquidity is pretty nasty on that bad boy. So as I said, we're in BABA, we're in Intel, we're going to go to happening now. I'd love to be able to short the pop into VWAP, but if we don't get it, then we just hold to the low of the day here, which is at 106 and a half. Adara?
Ready here for these numbers. We have in just about 5 seconds now the NAHB Housing Market Index and business inventories month over month. They just came out. Business inventories flat here, exactly in line with expectations, 0.2%. Versus 0.2% expected, slightly lower than the previous print of 0.3%. NAHB Housing Market Index coming in a little bit higher than we expected, 40 versus 38. NASDAQ finding a little bit of a temporary bounce level here perhaps, but not moving too much here. Still at low of days for the NASDAQ. And Semiconductor certainly on watch just as a group. Here's ASML at its day's lows, much like the market on day one earnings. They did have a miss on sales and their guidance a little bit mixed to negative as well, with their Q2 net sales guide completely missing estimates. Then we have Nvidia. This one actually bouncing a little bit nicely off the open, but still removed from highs, basically announcing they're going to be taking a $5.5 billion charge here with regards to China chip export restrictions on its H20 chips. So Nvidia on watch here, all of these chips on watch. As we also want to remind you guys, 1:30 p.m., Fed Chair Powell will be taking the podium, so keep an eye on that. I'll be watching that, delivering that for you guys. Back to you.
It looks like we, thank you, Adara. It looks like we were right on AMD, but I think if you're going to look to go short, it might be in and around now, trying to break through the 50-period moving average right there. Let's go. I mean, Apple's still trying to go lower right now as well. If this market does crack, we're bidding 197. Someone's really phoning me now. I wish it was this guy. Yeah, I told him this has to be off the show, but I don't want to get any. We don't want to get any investigations over here, Joe. Like, we shouldn't be picking up.
He's got time, and he's got time.
But there it is. He was probably wondering about this Apple trade. But the thing is like we're just covering some more here at 44s. That is so now it is a clean $4 right now in the money to the downside. So we're just covering more. We just got a good bid there at 50. So we're getting lighter and lighter now. 10% exactly. 10% left on this trade. Sorry, Marty. I'm not sorry at all. I'm really glad that you made your day 2 times your daily goal, but I wish hopefully you were still in it, at least still in a little bit. Always worth holding. Shout out to Adam, and just shout out to everybody here who's in the chat. Make sure you do hit excuse me, that like and that subscribe, because right now I do want to give you a big shout out right here. What's up to Mike DeRider, Imperial Music fan, Sam, Jesse. It's 10 o'clock, baby. Everybody's in the building now. Martin, God Emperor, Mo Bro. What's up, Mo Bamba? Right there. Hey, Adam, how's it going, man? Wave to you too, my guy. Dick Tracy. Yeah, we solved that problem yesterday when we guessed that Edge X. What's up, Dan McIsaac? What's up, Jacques? What's up, Conservative Momentum? Hasib. Yo, Chef Joe's in the building. Now the chat's getting going. Adolfo is here as well. Yezer is here. What's up, Yezer? Christopher, Common Sense, everybody that's in the chat. Jay Lee, hey, this guy's still short. Way to go, Jay Lee, as well. Moonshot, Zin, everybody that is in the chat. Yo, says Ezekiel. What's up, Ezekiel? Everybody, there it is. Ozan. Ozan is once again in the building. So there we go for you, my guy, Ozan. We are getting it. What's up, Pillsbury? What's up to everybody today? Oh boy, we've got MJ in the ear. We've got the dubs on the board. We're ready to go, man. Neil crushing it over here. We're putting up number. I don't need to keep talking about this one trade because you guys can see that is clear as day. What's up, Anurag? You're in here. Hey, you're short AMD. Great trade over there as well. So yeah, man, a big shout out to everybody. AMD was the number one trade idea on the board. I hope you guys hit that short. So there it goes, man. We now halted again at the highs, and you guys are really making my day. We love the fact that everybody's on board with us here. And yeah, I just should have shorted AMD, but you know, caught in deer in headlights with what we've been doing here on Apple. So I just go salute to you guys. We're here every day. The sticky note is what's good, and we've got that. It is that sticky, icky note.
I see you guys, everybody in there. Shout out to Sam. And a lot of people saying Tesla, you're throwing names out there. Trust me, it's probably falling, but Tesla is oddly enough not one of them. Tesla already bounced off the low. I'm staring down, look, we're holding the shorts, but I'm staring down Palantir because I did like this for a long dip buy, and obviously it's dipping. So yesterday, this it was a ramp job exactly from $23 at the open. I still have the trend line that got put in there. It just tagged 24.5. Okay, now you're getting a bit of a relief rally, so maybe put it on the back burner. But as it's testing the lows, I'm looking for the mean revert down in here off the 93. Palantir, it was big news yesterday. NATO's a big deal for these guys, and that was a great push. And the other thing it's got going on for it, this is above the 50 period on the daily on Palantir. So like for me, that's still pretty, it can pull all the way back into like 91, 92. And on the daily chart, that's still holding the trend. So we can be down 6-7 points today and still be a solid opportunity as long as it closes above that. So we are looking for that for the downside and then trying to revert it. But I don't want to get into a long too early. That's the idea. Like you just have to be patient with it. I don't think we're at that moment just yet. A lot of time, it's only 10 o'clock. So BABA hasn't really broken VWAP again. We didn't get the reload in here. It was kind of just hanging underneath. You can see the wick on the candle. That's real. It tagged 40s where we're in and then was right back down at 108 right quick. So that was a little too fast. And Intel is trying to bounce. I still want to be a bit patient. Here it's coming back into VWAP. Remember the plan of action is to try to do what happened yesterday. Play the high, play the lower high. That was midday when it retested VWAP. It didn't want to do it early, but it's coming in here now. So we'll get our opportunity, I think, in the next couple seconds to get the reload on these shorts. Bitcoin's above 84,000, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, Bitcoin's at the high when the market's at the low. So you might want to watch out for that. That's usually a good sign of strength. I was hoping Palantir would do this, and then you'd be Palantir long, much easier to do when it's showing relative strength. But maybe it's Bitcoin instead, or that MP, that Meta, what is it called? Meta Materials? Or, no, that's something else.
I think it's just MP Materials or something
MP
like that.
Materials?
But the fattest of pipes right now is now up 9% and actually just faded back a little bit. Fat pipe, nice move to the upside right there, up 7% in trying to go again. Yeah, it probably is a trap right there. Let's go check over on Webull as well. But I just wanted to bring that up. Fat pipe right now trying to go. And we had run that stock before, but then got run on it as well. So be careful with Fat pipe as that comes and goes up and down. Easy halter there as a recent IPO right there. All right, so I was just going to look at Webull up 13%. We've seen this name go. There was that story yesterday from Charles Gasparino talking about how some of the China ties may be negatory for the stock, but they go negative on that story and go up. Up now 12% for Webull. Looking at some levels, I still like the 50-period moving averages on these things. I mean, we've now traded for enough days. It's not really the halting sort of bonanza that it had been here with Webull. So Again, back into 42. It looks like that's been a good base there today. I don't know if we get that low again, but that is a spot of concern for me on that. We got more out there. So we had 10%. Now we have 7% left as we just took 3 more outs here under not 197. And there goes the blast higher in the market now. So we've already covered, like I said, we might as well get it. Let's just get out another bit. Okay, there it is. Now we're down to 5% left on this play. And it's been a good one there to watch. Tank down Apple. But hey, man, everything doesn't go down forever. We talked about it on the mat, and looks like it's getting up from said mat. All right, so Nvidia was a lot lower earlier, man, like in the day. It really had those bad thoughts, and then it made that move higher. And remember, what they're talking about is just a potential charge. That can all change. Like, you know, if that decision flips up the other way where they don't need all those permits and trying to curb some of the shipments.
They may never have to pay it.
Right. It may not be anything. So this is a good opportunity, you know, to think about. And it's funny because we had Raheem over here, and he's just like, man, all this stuff doesn't get fixed in one day. So, or 1 week or 1 month or 2 months or 6 months. So you're either building plants, you gotta move over your inventory, you gotta get the equipment, you gotta do all this stuff, plus you gotta book out some of the losses, like Nvidia not threatened, but had mentioned that there could be some losses there that they're gonna have to book based on their projections. And again, that's the problem is looking forward right now. Very, very hard to guide in said environment. So yeah, Nvidia making those moves. You had a great trade there.
IBIT's really looking
Intel's
okay.
also on the note there today. But that would have been another play, and I know you're in it, so that was good, right? But yeah, so all right, we're doing our thing here, and so is Miss Adara.
I just want to clarify with regards to the Nvidia charge. So I just actually read their official SEC filing just to make sure I fully understood this. So on April 9th, so last Wednesday, the U.S. government let Nvidia know that they require a license for export to China with regards to transferring the company's H20 or China compliant AI chips. So because of that, because the U.S. government informed them, Nvidia is saying, according to this official filing, they are expected to include up to roughly $5.5 billion of charges. So the issue here seems to not be whether or not there will be charges. They are saying that there will be, or they expect there to be up to $5.5 billion in charges. Now, I guess the question would be, is it actually that $5.5 billion, or would it be a little bit less? But regardless, NVDA 100% expecting there to be some kind of charge as evidenced by their official SEC filing. That is what the story is here, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Oh, and thank you very much there, Darius. So look, Bitcoin is, and I just talked to Joe. Joe was in Bitcoin off these bottoms. Good trap that got set off the lows. If you ever see this, like if you have to be bullish on something to get this trade where it wicks the bottom and then immediately goes. You have to be thinking long on a false break at the bottom, but you don't have to be thinking that when it makes the double bottom in there. Now, I wasn't looking at IBIT. I wish I was, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said, as the market just made this bounce, psych. So this is what we just did on the NASDAQ, back into VWAP. Okay, thank you, Alibaba, because it hits the low, and I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to bounce pretty nicely off that low. Okay, it's going now, but a second ago, it looked like that was going to be a terrible decision to take the range trade on BABA. But I got to follow my rule. My rule is, if I'm thinking short, like pop short off of the highs is the big level, and I have a target zone, like a prior close as a target zone, I do not want to do sticky keys. I wasn't even holding my keyboard down. Let's go, no. I feel like I always disable that, and then it just comes back on its own, Windows. But if I have a target zone and I get double confirmation, like it bounces off of it once, the futures are bouncing from there, then I'm taking the trade out. That's just a rule, especially on a VWAP trade, like bounce to VWAP to the high, bounce to VWAP to the low. So I will reload this if we get the chance. That's what we're going to do. Nvidia got away from us. And by the time it actually broke the trend, that's where, it's always opportunity cost. That's where I was focused on Alibaba. But now you're underneath VWAP. There's your trend break. So I took the early L on Nvidia. It finally broke the trend clean under the volume weighted average price. And now you have a downtrend clearly holding. So we might be able to pick this one up back at VWAP. Just have to, like I said, you've got to be patient. And you should always, at this time of day, note relative strength versus relative weakness. Tesla, like Bitcoin, holding higher, at least for now. At least for now. So I don't want to slap this on the, oh, let's go long, but I wasn't even thinking Tesla short unless it was pressing above 255 into 256 and looking for a turnaround way up there. And it can't get to those prices if it doesn't do a bit of a breakout. So NASDAQ's down 2 points and trying to bounce. We'll see if Tesla's able to hold up. Oh, not again, Weemy. Oh, good. All right, Weemy with the old dumperino, everybody. So what does it do? It goes into the prior high and halts to the downside. Volume a little bit better now if you guys have been trading this. This is why you take profit. You get the early move, take your profit in there. If you sold at 650, whatever, like you made a huge gain on this type of a move, 20, 30%, whatever it might be. It'll be a 5-minute halt or a 10-minute halt. The current tap for anyone that happens to be in this, hopefully no one's caught in this. I really don't want anyone to be caught. 511 is the indicated open right now. That's how dangerous these things are on the back end. Be very, very careful with them. MACP, no way. CoreWeave's at the IPO price. When the market's this bad, we like CoreWeave, but remember on the IPO for CoreWeave, CWRV. CoreWeave, remember it broke this already? So the IPO price, the issue was 40, but you've got to remember where this thing went to on day one, and which was much lower. Come on, chart. Show us the bottom in here. It already double bottom once. I want to be able to show you the first day. Load. There you go. Like it's already been down at 36. So the actual bottom is 36, and the first day low was right around like 38. So you do have some levels down here where you're at the 38. Now that you're under 40, it'd be 36 that I think you got to look for, because that over-under at the 40 is already come and gone. So yeah, CoreWeave nasty. Maybe an SSR bounce play on CoreWeave could be in play. Lots of things going on here as the market continues to bleed. The only thing that I reloaded now was just Intel. Yikes, that's an ugly chart. We reloaded Intel off of VWAP, bit of a topping tail candle. We'll play it to the low of the day and just try to rinse and repeat. Like I always say, like whatever the best stock was for you the day before, you want to go back in. And if it does the same thing, then you should do the same thing. And what it did yesterday, right now it's kind of looking the same. It just tried to pop the pre-market high, failed it, hit the low, came to VWAP, failed it, hit the low, didn't get to VWAP again. We're not even 35 minutes in, and it's already done what it did, by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, which is the VWAP retrace. So it's a little bit stronger, but I'm going to play the pattern until it breaks. Now, that's what you're supposed to do. Ride the trend, ride the wave. Right now, nothing is telling me that this wave down is over. Well, I bid kind of.
I mean, we just look at that wick we just got right there. Sometimes you got to have some kind of diamond hands right there as well. So there we just got a 196 fill. What was that? 196.15. I mean, it looks like we'll probably get it again in just a matter of time. But there it goes. Nice move down there for Apple again. I see you are, great trade. I was going to say, I see you're out of Alibaba. I was hoping it kept going down, so that's a good one there. 107.50, nice.
It bounced off the world.
Yeah. Intel, probably a good reload. I heard you mentioning that one. All right, what else you guys want? Let's look at Tesla. We haven't looked at that in a minute as well. All right, so I only have now 5% left of Apple. That was a really good fill down there, so I'm just going to now basically just chillax and wait to see what the next play there is for Apple. All right, we'll go on that one and give it a second. So, all right, Tesla, same type of thing there. We talk about why that level is so key for me anyways on Apple, that $200 level. And we shorted through that. We had to hold, can you believe on Apple, we had to hold this trade that is now $4. We had to hold it about 40 cents against us right there. So well worth that. But there goes Tesla, the same kind of a trade. Oh, that's Apple. That's Tesla. The same kind of a trade right there at 250, right? And that's the thing. If you're gonna short something, especially something that you're a little uncertain of right there because Tesla's moving with the market, you definitely want to get them in at key levels. And right there, 250, and again, I talk about this with Obi because we both have similar mentalities of trying to snipe levels and get those prices. We all do, but it's about sticking with individual trades and maybe putting in a little bit more size because as we can all tell you, the size, and this is going to sound silly, but it is the thing that matters the most, because we can have all of these trades. And if I have one trade in Apple, let's just say, and I put on 100 shares and it goes $4, great. But if my very next trade, let's just say in Tesla or something like that, I put on 200 shares and I lose $1, well, I mean, right there, sure, you have a $4 winner one way, but then the other way, you almost lost, and I know the math doesn't work out, it's half, but you're going to lose a big amount of money if you don't share size properly. So we've seen these on days where you'll have 3 or 4 winners, but then that one loser can wipe absolutely everything out, right? So, you know, stay with the plan and stay patient with some of those plays. Because, yeah, you said it right there, Mr. Easy Street. What I didn't want to say, size. Yeah, so size does matter. Yeah, exactly. And there is nothing more important with trading, because we can have all of these ideas that we have. If you don't have the shares on to make your day, then you don't have the shares on. It's just, it's one of those things. Like, I could sit here and say the Maple Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup. That's great. It's fun to cheer them on. But if you're trying to make money off of it, then you got to bet it, right? So right there on Tesla, good move there at 250 coming into play. I think that's worth it for a decent size. And that's what we started. If you're going to do anything, you want to get it into 250, 251. So yeah, those are just some things that I'm thinking about right now. Yeah, Austin Matthews may choke. We'll see. We have an early Ontario battle here, where it's going to be your Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. So basically, Toronto gets 7 home games in the first round. So that's going to be really important. I remember going down to Ottawa back in 2004 when they played. I'm not sure if you came with us or not.
I couldn't go to the.
Yeah, talk is cheap, obviously. Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah, we went down there. I think we did there and back one night. That was wild. There. So a bunch of us went down. So shout out to all those guys. But yeah, anyways, there it goes. Yeah, I'm listening to Black or White right now on the tunes here. So makes sense.
I remember how big the release was for that video. And then it was like, I was very disappointed in it. It was because what happened is from MJ after Thriller, literally every time he'd come up with like, this is the feature video, the anticipation was gigantic, but nothing was ever Thriller. So no matter how good it was, you were always disappointed.
Right, yeah.
Random in the chat. First, someone asked me about Palantir, and I said exactly the same things before. I am looking for a dip buy in Palantir. It's just nowhere near the price yet, and it's fallen like a rock. But this is distinctly different. I'm not sure why, and maybe I missed a story on SMCI. I'll go and check. SMCI has a chance to turn green here. So there you go. I mean, I had no idea. Thank you for pointing it out in the chat. Not really sure why SMCI is doing this, but as I said, Palantir, I was looking for a dip buy, but SMCI, great call out. You look for relative strength. Clearly, it's here in SMCI. Let's go to the desk with Adara for the small cap recap.
Yeah.
I just checked here. There's no story on SMCI that I could find. The most recent story was yesterday at 8 a.m. So nothing really there to explain that push to the upside for Supermicro Computer. But here's the IWM. And to say this has been really, really consolidative over the last 3 days would be an understatement. We'll have a little bit of chop, a little bit of churn, but generally trading within this range. Top here of about 188. Bottom, I guess you'd say around 183, so about a 5-point range for IWM. HOLO on watch here, Microcrowd Hologram announcing on Monday they're going to be doing a 1-for-40 stock split. Traded lower the last 2 days, now trying to get a little bit of a push to the upside. HOLO will have this reverse split go into effect on April 21st. They do have about an 8.7% short float. WIMI, another sympathy in that, I guess, hologram space. This company's called Wimmy Hologram. No news I could find on this, but as Neil mentioned earlier, extremely volatile. And last but not least, frequent small cap runner, Treasure Global. TGL is the ticker for this one. Right now trading around that $3.50 level, announcing this morning that they've secured a partnership with Mesify. So keep an eye on TGL with about a 750,000 share float, roughly 9% of which is sold short. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Adara. That's TGI going, but SMCI is now going to be green. And what I was saying, I was always showing SMCI when I was talking about Palantir, but I was saying about Palantir, it just never got to the level. I wanted, when you're trending down like this, my theory usually is if you like a dip by price and it's way off at some support lower, then when you're trending down, like give it the chance to get there. Like, so my thing was I wanted to give it a chance to get there. And we're not there just yet. All right, Alibaba's coming into VWAP. I mean, it's coming into the volume weighted average price. Get that line out of the way. If we get another one of these pop and fades off the volume weighted average price, then we look to get back into Alibaba. That looks like it's coming here next. So Daniel, yeah, that'd be the plan. If it blows through and never does any kind of a stop or a curl, then I don't want it. But as long as we hold on, I think we're good to go. And we'll see what happens with Alibaba here. Tesla, I'm going to pull that away because it's not doing anything. I'm actually going to move that chart to Palantir because that's going lower. Tesla not doing much. I said I like 55 to 56 short. I mean, it was at like 50 and not doing anything. So VWAP here on BABA. I think we get the reload also on Intel at the same time as the market pops up here.
There you go. Whoever mentioned Dirty Diana, we've got that going right now. We do want to make sure that we continue to look at, everywhere, right? So we did talk about Bitcoin making that move back upside. I am not sitting here at 48, but I mean, I do think that there is a decent opportunity here, needless to say, at 48, but do we like it or what? Like, there's a 200 period right there at 48.20, 48.25. So, I mean, that could give us 25 cents worth of cover there for IBIT. I mean, crypto has bounced. We talked about that 83 level earlier. So whether or not you're trading, I just want to try to find that chart so I can show it to you. Here it is right here off Coinbase. There's 83. So we didn't even really test down there today. Let's go to a 3-minute chart just real quickly. Fabian likes the BTC, that is for sure. Let's go to a 1-minute chart. Yeah, we wanted to do something, right? But there it is. So there it goes bounce. This is just a 1-minute chart now. So we do see a little bit of a bounce there on the 1-minute chart. So maybe there's something to see at 84,000. That's where we had just bounced off. 83,931 on the downside of that. We want to make sure that everybody understands that we're not going to be here on Friday. It is Good Friday. But right now we do have to talk about what's on the bottom of your screen. And of course, that is Trade the Pool. So I actually don't see the read in the calendar, to be honest with you. But I can go find one. Again, hold on a second. Let me find a new one. I see it there, but there's actually nothing.
You're right.
There's nothing under the ad read. There is no script. So join us with Trade the Pool. We're doing it live. Scan the QR code and enjoy 10% off. They're changing the game apparently at Trade the Pool, where right now you can just sign up with just $47, get unlimited upside, try to make your mark, lose only 47, but use company capital to get that done. We had Mitch on yesterday with Trade the Pool. We're trading with Real Trading, not available in the United States. So if you are looking for a prop firm, get involved with Trade the Pool right there. There's a few traders in our chat right now that I know have used them, so let us know what you think. But Trade the Pool right there. Scan the QR code. Still get that 10% off, right? Save yourself $5 there and go over. Just $47 to start off with. Scan that QR code. It's Trade the Pool. We want to thank them. Again, we have Steve Tileman. I was calling him Thielman before. I believe it is the man of tiles. Steve Tileman will be joining me on Thursday night with Trade the Pool, and he's an analyst over there. So big shout out there. I'm now about with what? With Adara and I. And tonight, what's on Wednesdays? Do we have anybody?
Wednesdays usually sometimes with Chris, sometimes we don't. I don't think we're going to have him tonight, but. It doesn't matter because
earnings,
the aftermarket show, we're back into earnings season. I meant to at some point get over to ASML because I definitely jinxed ASML. I was like, oh, it's not so bad. Well, it did get bad in ASML. I'm like, 4%, that's not too bad. I was expecting closer to double digits. Well, be careful what you wish for. No, Alibaba just came back into the volume weighted average price, so we did grab a reload in there. And as far as ASML goes, I'll remember to call it up on the NASDAQ and not call it up in Amsterdam, which is where my gut goes to. It's at 6% and at the low of the day. So that double digits, sometimes, and you have to remember, sometimes things wait for the U.S. market to open. And in this case, it waited for the U.S. market to open to get worse because it dumped right off the bat and has been dumping ever since. And that's in the face of some chip names looking better. You know, we showed USMCI, which is looking okay in there. Micron at one moment was holding up pretty well. Nvidia is not, however. That's coming into the volume-weighted average price. Baba got there first. And we'll see. If we start losing VWAP in here, we're probably headed back to the lows. But you're getting a strong bid. NASDAQ's at the volume-weighted average price. Nvidia is at VWAP. Worth mentioning for everyone that's been bullish on Bitcoin this morning, it's been leading this entire move back to the upside. Like right now, the leading indicator is IBIT. And it's doing a fantastic job of it here. So IBIT, green, not that it matters, it's a 24-hour market, but I'm asking myself, why am I waiting for Palantir to get to the low? I usually say join the upward trending thing. Not a stock, but it's looking pretty good. The strength is in Bitcoin. This is, I think, where you need to be. So if we do fail on the NASDAQ off of the volume-weighted average price, if we start bouncing off the low of the day, then I expect Bitcoin to be holding VWAP if it's still relatively strong. Great look for everyone that shouted out Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. It's looking fantastic. But Baba, we're back into this one off the south side. And we'll see if it gets back to the low of the day. I mean, I can't predict where it's going to go. I suspect if the market keeps on climbing, this will probably catch a bid that is not the low of the day.
All right. Thank you for all the comments there in the chat. Yeah, we are we're moving. There goes IBIT through 48. So I'm going to stay away from that one, Hyundai P. I'm not going to get into that one. We did see some talk about uranium. SMR must be a New York name. $14. I mean, there are a few other names that we can obviously look at here. We look at Oklo. Yeah, SMR, uranium's not really doing anything. If you wanted to pick on a name potentially here on the space, I would look at URA if you're just looking for an ETF here in uranium. So URA has been a good one. You could see there's the move. So you don't then have to necessarily worry about the individual names as we continue to climb a little bit higher on this ETF. And I'm not sure if we're expecting anything from Trump as far as uranium or any sort of a play there, but it is a nice move there to the upside.
That's national security.
For all the gold bugs out there, let me find out what's going on with you guys. Up still 2.5%. And again, like PPL was a name that was brought to us earlier by Raheem, and I want to thank Raheem for stepping up and in there today as well. But these names don't necessarily have too much volume. There's Adara. You know, I like the, you know, the, however, I have no idea, but that was really good. Thanks, Adair. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. And I have it here. I got to refresh our stream right now because it always like doesn't. I open it up early and it just doesn't run. So let me push play on this one and figure out exactly how many people are now watching and make sure that we get this like count back up to the upside. So over 9,400 of you right now. If one out of every 3 of you could hit the like button, we get over 3,000. So let's see if you can hit that little thumbs up right there. There we go. There's Sharif. There we go, man. He's wearing the blue. He's telling you to hit the subscribe, hit the like, get it going right now for us. Please, you know, if you like the show, like the show. And, you know, if you don't, that's fine. Make sure you do join us tonight for the recap. We do have right after this, we've got Sharif and Joe coming through with your midday. They used to, I don't even know if they do lessons anymore. I think they just kind of just go off. And it's
well, the big highlights is this. It's the Playmaker, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
The Playmaker, which is you guys.
Literally the most successful strategy.
It's like consistently winning, and it's just the vote. Like everyone votes which way, very simplistically, the market is going to go, specifically the S&P. And big shout, whoops, I'm on a different stock there, but I'm going to go to Alibaba. We just immediately slapped a trail on that, and it just hit. The market was breaking out a little bit there, but we just caught a buyer off the 108 level again on Alibaba, putting in a higher low. We'll keep on rinsing, repeating as many chances as we get on this bad boy. But yeah, that Playmaker poll has been doing really well, and that's a credit to everybody in the chat that is voting the right way. I try to put my votes in, but you know, oftentimes you're always going to be skewed with, like, if I happen, like, you know, yesterday, like if you're short, you just vote short. I always feel like that's what I do. I don't put any analysis into it other than what am I sitting in right now. Obviously, that's what I have to think.
I think that's the best part about it is there's limited analysis. You don't have to worry about it. We just go one way and you have the parameters.
And it's like it's a hard stop. It's a hard take profit. It's very binary. I believe, was that a call? Okay, let's go to Adara for the crypto update.
Go.
Not really hearing you that well.
Yeah, it seems.
I mean, we've talked about this the last couple of days, that support on the daily chart just above that 74,000 level. Now, over the last few days, we've held support around 80, where is this, 82, almost 83,000. Right now, though, slightly lower highs, pretty tight day. Again, we've been trading pretty tightly in this range recently. So we're actually at or near high of days right now, that 84.5 level, low of day here around 83. So again, pretty tight, about a 1,000 range right now for BTC as tickers like MSTR make days highs. Now, how are some of these other crypto names doing? Bitcoin relatively flat. Again, certain different platforms are going to show you different things. According to Binance, you're relatively flat on BTC. XRP a little bit red here. Ethereum a little bit red. Solana down about 2%. Cardano down about 2%. Doge relatively flat. So pretty mixed performance today across the board for these crypto tickers, guys, or crypto names, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, it's not, like, it's the Bitcoin show.
It always
No,
is.
they're number one. They are they're the reason why everything goes. Like, they're your leading indicator. Right now, you're driving the market higher. Every single time I see this catch a bid, like, that was part of the reason that we just covered BABA in there, because when you see this bad boy, like, breaking higher lows and higher highs, and then I see the NASDAQ make that same bottom off of the low, it's like, okay, fine, take the profit. Maybe we still continue this trend down, but you can always get back in. Like, we reloaded on Intel there. And I look over at this SMCI. It's not that I'm skeptical, but, like, there isn't a news story that I'm aware of here. So if there's no news story, you filled in the entirety of the gap, you got right to prior close, and now all of a sudden this is the time of day that I would look for, like, your little mean reversion trade. Like, it's a clean trend up that did a topping tail candle, and it's trying to close underneath the trend line. Like, this was a kind of a fail to close under the trend line here with that wick, but it's trying to close under the trend line. So I'm going to have this one up. I just realized I probably should check to see. Yeah, that's right. We have to pay for locates here at Real Trading. It wasn't part of the trading plan, so let me go ahead and do that. But SMCI, if there is no story here, I'd take the old trend break trade and see if this can get back into VWAP. But keep in mind, patience, because it has yet to really break this trend, and the market is being dragged higher by Bitcoin.
Yeah, I wanted to have a quick little look here at who was reporting, because it's now 10:34, so 10:30, and it's time to start to look. We did have big bank earnings. Maybe we could have a quick look to see what some of those names are doing here today, including Citigroup and BAC. They were moving around pretty good there yesterday, as we indicated that. BAC, I think, was up 3% or something yesterday, so that was a good one, or maybe it was a Citigroup. Anyways, they were all up yesterday, but despite JP Morgan's downside move, which we actually wound up having, if you remember there, at the end of the day, that turned out to be quite a good trade there yesterday. All right, but what's today? We already saw, actually, you know what? ASML must be going back up, right? Because of what's been, no. So I called ASML down 8% today. We'll see where it ends. If that happens, that's crazy. I don't know. That was just randomly. Like I said, no analysis on that. All right, so pre-market US Bank, Abbott Labs. Tonight we have Alcoa. So we talk about the miners a little bit there, so we can have a quick look at steel. We've had Nucor. That's been really smoked down there as US Steel looking for that Nippon deal to get squashed. I think that is what's going to wind up happening. United, if not already, United Health Group tomorrow. UNH has been super hot fire. And then American Express, I think, is one of those names that we need to buy on any weakness tomorrow. Maybe even, I don't know about into the print, but I do like AXP. TSMC, I mean, you thought today, Neil, was important with ASML.
It's more important.
I mean, tomorrow we have Taiwan, and then we do have, you know, we talk about Netflix. It's a hard one to trade because of the spread. I've traded this before on the show. It's just, I find it hard to take profit areas and things like that for this stock, because when you lose, sometimes you'll, just because the spread is now 70 cents right there, and if you have 100 shares or something, I would never trade this, I don't think, with 100 shares unless I had a good level, because you could move $2 or $3 in a couple of seconds there. But look what's happening today, up 0.5% when the market's down again. I believe this name splits, so we'll wait to see if that's the next catalyst, because the company came out yesterday and said they were looking for a $1 trillion market cap. But the thing is, their market cap is only $400 billion. So if they're looking for $1 trillion, then you're going to have a 2,300 handle on this thing is what they need to get it to. So I like when management talks like that. So we'll see what happens with Netflix coming out tomorrow after the bell. That should be an absolute banger just to see. But we've seen Netflix move, and the market, not really. They're not a huge piece of the puzzle. As you can see by the daily, it's over the 50-period moving average, dwarfing all these other names. So I like Netflix. I think that's a buy, and I don't think it's rocket science to say that.
And when they get to that, 2,300, or when they eventually split, I promise you'll be split adjusted on the e-signal charts. That's for darn sure. And you'll be able to track it any which way you like. Anything that moves, anything that trades. in highly customizable fashion, you can have it 1 month free over at eSignal because they're still waiving fees so you can trade smarter, not harder. We always talk about the opportunity to test your strategies like the Playmaker. Like the Playmaker poll, you throw in your data, you back test, you forward test, use indicators out the wazoo, have level 1, level 2 access, the imbalance locator, tick replay, tons of features that you can customize to your advantage with the most professional trading and charting platform out there. You can hook it up to brokers, so many brokers, and then the ability to execute trades live there. So big shout out to eSignal. It's all in one place, and it's first month free. So scan the QR code in front of you, check it out. Man, you don't like it, you don't buy it. I mean, I have level 1 up. I happen to have AMD up here because we were sort of observing this yesterday. And you can see your level 2 book, pretty much everything that you need. Customizable charts. There's more, like there's things in here that I haven't even figured out yet on eSignal. So SMCI did pay for the locates. What is it like? It's like 3 cents for every 100 shares on this one. It did just close underneath the trend line. So it is finally setting up that it looks like it wants to give it a short. The only reason why I'm not already in, remember yesterday when it breaks the trend line, you want it to go right away? Not going right away. It's holding the line on the bid. So now I want to see a little bit of quote acceleration, which I'm starting to see in here, that it's going to be selling off this 33.5, which is what it is trying to do. I want to make sure that there are sellers if you're going against the grain. So I'll see if I can get something in the mid 40s. Alibaba, are we going to be able to get back into BABA at VWAP? I'm not sure we'll be able to get back into VWAP on Alibaba, but it's held a couple of times already. So if we get any kind of a bounce, we'll go right back over there. Negative, does AMD look short? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Yeah. Maybe, look, sometimes volume weighted average price, a line in a chart, it's showing you sellers at like 89.60, but it's kind of, you can see like this yo-yo action that you're getting in here. So you've got a high that you pretty much have to wait for it to test in those highs, try to get on the way back and scalp it. Because you're in that part of the day where you want to be scalping your trade a little bit. Then look to hold some for the follow through. So yeah, the absolute top is probably not in. And I can't look at AMD without double checking Nvidia. Nvidia looks like more of a short than AMD. Nvidia is losing VWAP. Nvidia is at its local bottom here. Just feels like the weaker name for sure. Yeah, so AMD, I mean, it's not as good, but it does look weak.
All right, cue the Americans. We are listening to Nice for What right now by Drizzy right here, Fabian. There it is right there. 2018 coming through. Who's hitting that? All right, Dare, take it over. It's like that, Fabian.
Yeah, for the record, Nice for What is a solid song there. And this market, though, not looking as solid. Lots of weakness, specifically in these tech names. Meta to the downside, day 3 of their FTC trial. Nvidia also pretty weak. We know here that according to their official SEC filing, they're expecting up to $5.5 billion of charges due to the fact that the U.S. government is requiring that they have licenses to export their H20 chips to China. Weakness as well in finance and retail trade. Lots of weakness in producer manufacturing. Health technology, some hits here in Eli Lilly and AbbVie, though Abbott actually had earnings this morning. They're great look for the upside. Strength in consumer non-durables, energy, minerals, and health services. UNH continuing to be relatively strong compared to the rest of the market. So tech and a lot of this whole side of the board weak, but if you look at some of these other plays, specifically energy and health services, slightly better look there, guys. Back to you.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
Limited power. Don't worry about it, Fabian. Do you, man? You can't. You like what you like.
Do you, Fabian? Let's go.
You can't worry about what other people like. One of my biggest pet peeves is like, you know, that person that's just like, whatever happens to be hip is what they're into. It's like, well, what do you like for yourself, man? I'm not a hater of Drake. I'm not the biggest Drake fan out there, but you got to be able to do you, man. Do you, my friend. Not everyone has to like Drizzy, but we do have to love price action in the market. Thank you there, Ramin. My mic is being my mic. Man. We're busting VWAP in here on the NASDAQ, so you're actually breaking higher, which is a bit weird because we just got in SPCE. For now, it's ticking lower, but just have to acknowledge you're breaking back into the upside on the NASDAQ, and we just got that trend break short on SMCI. So with that,
Nokia.
it's like scalp the bottom of the range here because of that strength that we see in the overall market. And Bitcoin, as we said, leading the market higher, should be in the mid 30s in there just to get something out because this market seems to want to break out.
Yeah, here we go, guys. Here's another one here for you. Fabian, get ready for the fail, my guy. Here we go. You got to like this album cover right now. This song is hot. Nokia, you know? Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Is it Kaxi? Is it Bianca? Here we go. Nice move to the upside right now in the market. We've just covered some Apple, man. We're almost out. If you want the reload, you can grab it right now. Where the function. All right, so that's that. What about a name that we haven't looked at that's hitting the scanner right now? Oracle. The Oracle of Omaha about, wow, what a name Berkshire is. Whew. All right, so there it is right now, up to the 200 period moving average, 131.70 coming into play one more time right there. I mean, that's a 200 period. You could definitely fade that move to the high side. But look what the NASDAQ is doing right now, looking to take out day's high. Right? Obviously, it's not the pre-market, but we started off real hot early, and then the drop happened. Remember, this is the market opening right here. So there it goes up to 18,680 right now coming into play. So yeah, man, we're gonna have to wait to see what winds up happening here with Oracle. I don't think we want to short the market or anything right now. You guys asking me about TQQs? Yeah, there's the that's still Oracle at the 200 period moving average and breaking it. So the short is already finished. If you were short, you would have probably been looking short at that 200 period moving average. So I would just say I do not want to stand in the way of anything right now as far as this market is concerned. So if you're going to be short the NASDAQ, I would just use this as your level, 47.60. So that would be a level for me to look at again. So 47.60, not a horrible level. Yeah, Jeffrey, I'll be singing later. Don't worry about that. 47.60. Look, we're in a good mood, man. I mean, honestly, we have one trade on today, and it is the whole day. So it's been a good one. I might just get out of Apple. We have, like I said, a less than 5%. Let me just put a bid here at 198.11 as we line those up there. Looking at Coinbase, maybe you guys want to talk about, you know, different places to look at other than IBIT. There's Coinbase. Looks great off VWAP again. Good little level there. We spent a few minutes underneath VWAP right there. But am I shorting Intel today? Sure, why not? I'll look at that. Intel, again, we have a few, I mean, Intel really, it's had a good move. But yeah, with the market coming back up, I have Intel written down here, 1975 on today's sticky note. We also have AMD at 92. I know AMD only got to, what, 90.5? Yeah, so we missed that short there. But again, we're above, right? Like, I really would like to see it hold the 200 period moving average. And if anything, maybe decide to go long here at some point. So I don't know, man. Give me a hug, AMD. Give me a hug.
AMD is not looking like, it's not doing anything right now. Nvidia, SMCI is moving around a lot more. Those two are definitely, if you're picking the chip name right in this particular moment, you're bull flagging on SMCI. It did go right into the high. Like, I wanted Palantir to fill the gap in the other way, and this one decided to fill the gap upside. So we're in the trend break, but it's just not going right away. As I said, I'm going to bid in the bottom of the range, which is, that's like a new thing. Like, for me, a lot of times, and I've been in this with the mean reversion, where I'm sitting in it and it doesn't go right away on a trend break, and I'll just sit in it forever, and it doesn't go. So from now on, if it barcodes, it's just scalp inside the range and wait for it to break. And I don't do the whole, like that scalp inside of the range part for it to break down. So if we get the highs, I'm already back on the offer at 33.5. If we get it, we get it. I do see Palantir as well. It was a plan to go long, but it was not a plan to go long at 94.50. Like, it wasn't even close. It needed to drop almost another 2% for me to go into the long, but that trend is still heading down as well. So be a little bit careful here. We like IBIT, but this is not the time of the day that I usually want to be buying highs. I said before, pull back into VWAP and pull back into the prior high. So I think that can be the next play. pull back into the prior high. That's about. I tried to hold that through the entire thing. That pullback will be like 48. So if we can get 48, we'll look to join this trend because VWAP seems like it's a bit gone here on the IBIT and Bitcoin in general.
10:47. No better time to talk about what's for lunch. All right, let's have a quick little look on what's for lunch here today. Yesterday's lunch, I think, was pretty good, well received. Yesterday was the bolognese. I don't know, it didn't. Oh no, today's yesterday was Tuesday. So today's Wednesday. So all right, it's a protein that we're all pretty familiar with, especially if you've been watching the show. Oh, come on, Andrew Chow. You nailed it.
Of course it's chicken.
It's the world's most famous protein around here. Today, maybe a little too spicy, Adara. Listen, let me know what you think about Cajun crusted chicken. So we'll go to Adara for a second. Is Cajun a little bit too much?
Yes.
Adara?
Yes.
A little, yeah. She's saying yeah there. So we have spice, I don't know, what kind of spice we have here. Spice roasted, my favorite potato, baby potatoes, roasted baby potatoes. Honestly, for me, those are my favorite.
You got to season them though, like.
Yeah, well, we have the next one is corn succotash. So maybe you mix them together a little bit there.
Suffering succotash.
Yeah, suffering succotash right there. With a little bit of a chopped salad. What's up, hamster one? Yeah, fried chicken. I like the honey hot fried chicken sandwiches. Like those are pretty good there. Throw some dill pickle on your hot chicken there. That is nice,
biscuits.
Man.
You need
Cajun,
some biscuits with that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have
like real
Cajun.
Biscuits.
Yeah, but anyways, Cajun crusted
so much
chicken.
butter on there that is just, it makes you, if you see it made and the amount of butter that gets put in a good biscuit, it should concern you, and that's when you know it's that good. You know what also was good? Seeing what's happening and going on in the world of currencies.
Yeah, world of currencies.
How's that US dollar doing, Adara? Probably killing our dollar.
The US dollar here is honestly in the process of breaking down here from this bear flag on the daily chart. So we talked a lot here about this very extended rounded top that we've had, starting with that push to the upside in late September 2024. Now in 2025, we've really been in a decided downtrend, and looks like we're actually trying to break out of these lows from last Friday. Those lows were around 99. Right now we're about 99.4. We've already broken yesterday's lows. We did not make a high above yesterday's high. So some weakness certainly coming into that US dollar. It's been a lighter week here for economic data just by nature of the fact that it is a shortened week for the market due to Good Friday coming through, of course, on Friday. But we did have some numbers today, 1.4% here, retail sales month over month. And core retail sales a little bit higher than expected here, 0.5% versus 0.4% expected for that retail sales print. We're going to have Fed Chair Powell talking here at the Economic Club of Chicago at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll be covering that for you guys. Tomorrow, we get initial jobless claims and some Philly Fed business index prints, a couple Fed speakers as well. But before we, send you back to the guys here, let's take a look at May's CME Fed Watch tool. 84% of participants are not expecting a rate change. Only 16% now expecting a cut at that May meeting. Now, less than a month away on May 7th, 2025. Back to you.
Are we going back?
What?
No.
Okay, no, we're staying here. We just hit VWAP back on the NASDAQ there. We got to the prior low on SMCI. Remember I said I didn't like this one to VWAP, given how strong it was, playing it back in from there to there. So the second it caught a bit off 33, we took it and ran. Now if we hold, now remember, like this is a stock that's up, and shout out to everyone in the chat that pointed out, hey, they might not have as much exposure to China as the other names that got beaten up, and that's why you had a little bit of relative strength. I can't confirm any specific numbers, but that's a good logic as well. But the NASDAQ tries to bounce off the volume-weighted average price. One of the strongest stocks has a chance to do so as well. And before I know we're going to go, I go back to you, Sean. IBIT is doing its pullback as well. So if we hold on to VWAP on the NASDAQ, IBIT has a chance to hold on to that 48 level as well. Bitcoin at 84.6, so pull back off 85,000-ish and look to see if we can hold that pattern of higher lows and higher highs. That's pretty much all you're looking for on IBIT right now.
I'm actually looking at this website right now, so make sure you do sign up. It's ProfitX. looking for unbeatable odds, which is what I'm trying to find right here, and the biggest games, switch over to ProfitX right now. Their peer-to-peer platform where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. Go find if their line is on there. If it's not, make it yourself. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, and trust me when I'm telling you. Just go over, look at it. ProfitX right now. Go over, click that QR code, and have a quick look. If you are a sports gambler, track the action, watch your plays, exit them real time, experience total control at every step. You can also use Trader TV, code Trader TV at sign up to get 2% back up to $3 So check out ProfitX right now. So I laid down yesterday the Maple Leafs at minus 176 to beat the Ottawa Senators in the series. I just wanted to lay it immediately. Right now, I'm not seeing any series lines here. So as soon as they come up, I'll check them out. Tonight in a must-win game, I don't even know if there are any lines here for hockey yet. Oh, yes, there are. There's over 24,000 sitting here on hockey right now. Right now, Montreal in a must-win game tonight, plus 109. So you take the money line right there with Montreal tonight. I think they get that win. Shout out to Demidov right now, the 04, their 4th overall pick, goal and an assist last game. So there's Montreal right there in a must-win game tonight. So I really like ProfitX, man. The odds are huge over there. But yeah, so I laid the Maple Leafs. They're minus 176.
Go Leafs, go. But I got to point this out because remember we were talking 2 weeks till the draft. The lines on the individual NFL draft guys are starting to pick up.
Yeah.
Like the open interest, and this is 2 weeks before the draft. There's already like 91 grand on number 1 overall pick. It's a sure thing. Everyone's saying Cam Ward. But you're getting like draft position of some of the top 5 guys. There's $3K on it. Where it was down here to be drafted in the top 5, and Sanders is probably the most interesting one. Barring a trade, I don't think it happens. But 8K already 2 weeks away, and you're already starting to see action. People sitting outside the book to try to get picked up and get snagged because that's something that you're able to do here. So great look on ProfitX. The odds are fantastic. But IBIT just made another high. That's a bit of a topping tail candle. All right. So topping tail candle there on Bitcoin as we just try to break out that top. What did I just hear? Tesla.
There are California registrations.
California registrations. Okay.
It's not really moving.
But Tesla's got this.
Down 15% is the number.
Oh, the registration's down 15%. Well,
Year over year.
I mean, are we surprised that in California they're not popular right now?
I mean, they're not popular anywhere in the world, but yeah,
well, California,
definitely not.
I mean, that's not shocking, I guess. Watch out because that has a trend. It's got like a 3-bar triple, or actually quadruple. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's breaking trend right now on that number, Adara.
So here's the whole story here. Tesla California registrations. Their Q1 registrations dropped 15.1% year over year. But furthermore, their EV share so the EV market share in California in Q1, I know very specific metric here, is actually down to 43.9% versus 55.5% a year ago. So last year in California in Q1, they controlled more than half the EV market in terms of market share. Now about 43.9%, guys. Back to you.
I mean, I have no idea if I can get some love from Fabian on the weekend. I mean, right now we have the hills. So here goes. Shout out to Scarborough. Shout out Toronto. And then, I mean, the GOAT is in the building right here on this remix. It's the weekend with Eminem. So if my guy hits a fail over there, the hat's coming off, and I'm going over there to switch the board myself. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're just playing around. We have a good time. If you're not having a good time trading, then yeah, you're probably like most people. Trading has been tough lately, that is for sure. But we're putting it up. I was waiting on Tesla, so that number comes out there, and it's starting to get down to the downside. But as is the market, right? The market's now breaking low. Those of you that were talking about, oh man, it goes hard on this one. Those of you that were talking about Tesla, Rivian, all the sort of the tariffs coming through. Well, this is a U.S. number right there coming for them out of 15% lower registrations out of California. So you definitely got to have a quick look over there. But those of you that were talking about potentially shorting the market, looks like you're right. I was nervous about that being now above VWAP, which is why we started to cover some Apple. I don't have a good cover right there, as I thought we were going to potentially break. And when we broke, I didn't know if we were coming back. So that breaks. And we got out, which is fine on the way back in at VWAP. And then we just took another fill right here at 197.70. So it's still $3. It's still a dub. But at the end of the day, looking for it to come back just a little bit more than where we are right now. And there's the fill there. Yes, sir. So we get that as we still get out the claws, man. The bear is still in the building there today. And yeah, we just continue to be that short. So yeah, it's for me, it's going to be just on this one trade, my best day of the week. But yeah, we just milked this. We did put on a serious position. So when that came through, it was nothing but love for Apple. Early covers, of course, because of share size. But I have to get out of my head there that if we do think it's going down, I mean, we got, honestly, good hold. You know that we were holding 70% on the way down, if not more. And then a couple good covers there. Somehow we got that fill when we went up and got our water. That was fantastic. But it looks like the base is going to be down at 196. So another fill right there. Less than 2% left. It's scratch, but hey, man, we're still making good on that scratch. Short everything, people in the chat. I want to look at DraftKings quickly, as we talked about some online gambling there a little bit. Some of these names have continued to get hit, right? So again, customer acquisition costs continue to go higher up right now. A tariff, unrelated name to tariffs, but again, if consumer confidence starts to wane a little bit, then we wait to see what's going on with DraftKings coming back in. And we're now through a lot of the sports gambling sections. We just had March Madness. Yeah, we still have NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs, so those are big. Baseball, I don't think is huge for that, but yeah, we can wait again to see what winds up happening with DraftKings. I still like the space there. FanDuel is a big one. I think, is that Flutter? There's a
the English
IPO,
company.
didn't they? But I think they came over here as well. Either
It was
on ADR.
They named it the, what is it?
It's a different name, right?
No, I thought
Flow.
Isn't it just FLUT? It's not Flutter.
What?
Oh, it's not. It's not Flutter Entertainment. That's something else then. Never mind. Oh, I think that's something else.
I mean, I don't know.
I'd have to double check. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, they did just recently IPO. Bitcoin it is FLUT. That is it, Hamster? All right, thank you, Hamster. Well, you just saw me pull it up, and it had like no volume on it. So I'm looking at IBIT right now. It just did that pullback on trend, but not going long if it just closed, breaking the trend line. That's usually it'd be a short entry if it does that. So obviously I wouldn't take a long going into that kind of a move. But I do like what's happening over there in IBIT. So if it is Flutter Entertainment, that's done 500,000 shares on a day. What's the daily chart look like on that? Well, like everything else, doesn't look very good. So I don't know what to tell you there. I do like I like DraftKings as well.
Yeah.
I just think my only concern was like the consumer's holding up really well. Like, how is this going to shake out in the back half of the year? People talk about recession and you have less discretionary income. I don't know if the timing is right for them. I don't know why I'm looking at Flutter when we should be pulling up DKNG while we're talking about this. I think it's just a timing thing. You got to be I think you're really particular with what you're buying right now. And if you don't love it, then you can wait. And if you do love it, then you buy it in pieces. But DraftKings does have a good 30 level. All right, IBIT starting to recover a little bit here. I think this is here it is, back on trend. Looks like the 10s are feeling good. See if we can nibble in here in the teens. There's not much trending up, but one thing that is the leader of the pack, and that's Bitcoin. I just want to show, I haven't shown a 15-minute chart. Oh, you know what? I have to fix some of the scaling on this. Too big of a gap. But you do see it going right back into a key close price right here. And that goes back into Monday. So we'll pick up the long on Bitcoin if we can. Hamster MP is going nuts. Yes. Metamaterials breaking out the high. I want it breaking out yesterday's high. So it's not quite squeezing yet. You got to pick and choose. I just like IBIT. Never traded MP. Not a bad spread, 5 or 6 cents on it. It actually looks pretty standard. As far as I can tell, it's done 7.8 million shares, so it actually is pretty solid there. So I'd rather chase Bitcoin than chase MP, but to each their own. You found yourself an upward trending stock in a market that's down, so good for you. And I think you got to ride the wave. This wave happens to be going up, and the administration want to do a stockpile is going to help them as well. Kind of puts a nice little put under that stock. It's already 11 o'clock, everybody. So what?
She's doing what I do, where I'm telling you to keep going on.
No, I didn't even realize.
She's like, we're over time. I'm like, no, you're not.
No, I didn't even realize we were past 11 o'clock until I just looked
show.
out. Good show. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, everybody. make sure, put some thought into that playmaker, everybody. It's been doing fantastic. Love to see which way you guys are going. It's a little bit early. You do it in a couple of hours, but shout out to the midday boys. Shout out to everyone in the ones and twos, and shout out to my man Sean over there. Listening away.
Appreciate that.
I don't know,
For me, it's
I don't know about
Drake.
Drake.
It's about
I don't
the
know
Drake.
about Drake. Like I said, I'm not a huge Drake fan, but it started off with some MJ, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we got
And
some
now,
Gucci Mane now.
See, that's I can mess with that. Let's go on over to the midday before I say that for real. Shout out to you boys. Yeah, like.
Boom! You know it, Fabian.